Hello. Hello, Moon Rain. How are you? Good to see you and Happy New Year. I'm so happy that I was able to go live today. And I'm hoping that, we could all spend a little time before we welcome the new year coming in. Some of you will make it to midnight, others won't. um, but I am glad that you are going to spend just a little bit of time with me. Um, Doing okay, honey. I'm doing a lot better than I have been in the last couple weeks. So thank you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing really well. Um, yeah, I was just over at Daisy's and she's doing karaoke. That was a lot of fun. I thought I'd get a live in before a lot of people are gonna go live tonight. That way I have a little bit of time with you. And thank you. And yeah, I have a few questions that I would love to talk to you guys about, ask you how your year was, and I would ever so grateful if you were to come up on panel. Like I tell everybody, you do not have to cam up. It's like talking to someone on the phone. But I would like to ask you a few questions about 2023 and how it was for you. So if we could do that, I'd just be appreciative. I don't usually get a whole lot of people that are willing to come up on my panel. And if you know me, if you've seen my lives and seen me around, this is a judge. How do I say this? There's no judgment here. This is a loving and kind-hearted group of people, and I look at my subscribers as friends. Even if it's just YouTube friends. Still, the people that come in my chat, I know are good people. And that's who I want to surround myself with. If somebody wants to come into my chat bitter, nasty, they get the boot. We don't need that negativity here. I don't do drama. There has been times where I've had to discuss things. But I do not consider myself to be a drama channel, a gossip channel. Um, this is just like being at a friend's house. It's warm, it's comforting, welcoming, and you just know that you're surrounded by good people who like to see the best for you. I'm glad. It takes a little while, Moon Rain. It really does. I've been on YouTube for 3 years interactively, um, and I am just now getting comfortable and knowing the ropes. But it's one of those things that it constantly surprises you. You're gonna have people that um are very disgusting, hateful, um, but then you're gonna find those diamonds in the rough, those those great people that you are grateful to have in your life. And this year, I have found some um, that I would have gone through what I've gone through over again because it was worth meeting them and having them in my life now. That's good, Moonrain. I'm glad. I'm glad. I am really glad to hear that. This day has gone really fast for me. I'm like, oh my god, it's time already. How's this day been for you guys? How are you guys doing? Cushy! So glad you're here, sweetheart. I hope your head's feeling better today. I hope you've had a better day. I know you've been busy, but I hope it's been better. Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. I thought about I'm just on and off. Well, hopefully it's better in some way. Um, yeah, I I don't know what I was gonna say. No, oh yeah, I plan on being on camera for a little bit, and then turning it off because I just seem to do better when it's off. I'm doing okay. My legs are doing a lot better, a lot better. I got a spot in my back is I don't know if it's a spasm, or I pulled something. It's like right below the shoulder blade by the rib cage. It's not fun. But other than that, I'm doing great. I'm in a great mood and I got good sleep last night. So, very grateful for that. I've seen some wonderful lives so far today. I know Team Rose is doing a 24-hour live. Days was doing her karaoke. I think Gypsy's going live like an hour before midnight. So I see a lot of good lives so far. Thank you. I hope it does too. I definitely want to try to get into the chiropractor, see if that helps. But yeah. Um Cushy, I mean if you don't mind or if you have a couple minutes, I would love for you to maybe come up on panel and just talk a little bit about what 2023 was for you. That would be awesome. Get a good stretching. Yeah, I've been stretching it all day, like, trying to, because it's certain positions I move with my arm is like, you know, I might try to get a hot shower after this live. Yeah, I wish I had some Epsom salts. Those are pretty good. I'm not much of a bath person, but if I have some Epsom salts, yeah, I definitely will try it. Um, but I try to have good lives, but I think my lives would be better if people were willing to come up on panel and talk with me. Because I have one, two, three, four, five good questions to ask, and then one that's like optional. It's up to you if you want to um, elaborate on. And that's it. I mean, you don't have to hang up here too long. It'd just be nice to hear your feedback. Oh, yeah. Do you need my email? Here, let me put it in chat. Let's see. I'll put it in chat for you. Um, there you go, honey. There you go. I heard a noise, I thought. But yeah, um, okay, so these are it's not nothing like hard to answer, but I would love it if you could tell me your experience. The questions I have are, what about this year was good or a blessing? That's one, the first one. Hi Tara, good to see you, sweetheart. I was just reading off questions I would like to ask people if they were to come up a panel and share their experience of 2023's. So the first one is, what about this year was good or a blessing for you? Second question is, what about this year was bad or hard? Third question is, what do you what do you think taught you a good lesson this year? And the next one is, what's something you discovered for the first time this year? And then the last one is, do you have anything? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, what are some things you are going to work on for the year 2024? And this is optional, but it's up to you. Do you have anything to get off your chest and let go? Sometimes, if we just voice it out, our grievances, I can't speak, voice out things that have troubled us, to vent. Once we vent, then we can let it go. We can go on, we can forgive and let go. And that's something that is very important to do. Not for the other person or for the people, but for yourself. Forgive them and let it go and move on. And I'm telling you what, if you can do that, then you'll feel better. You'll feel a lot better. So those are my questions. Nothing super hard. Um, but yeah, I would love to hear from you what you think about those questions. You said try to beat depression and relearn how to live again and accept things I cannot change. Well, Moon Rain, speaking for someone who's lived with depression, um, you could go and talk to a stranger for an hour. You could choose to get medication for it. Um, but having a good support group, whether that be family or friends, um, is one of the biggest ways to help with depression. And the next one would be to find Jesus. And because when you find Jesus and you get to know Jesus, then you'll always have that hope that you never had. And you'll know that you're never alone. And with that hope, you find joy and you find peace. So that's my best advice for you, speaking from experience. So I hope that helps somehow. Oh, okay. I thought I had a text. I could see you, Tara. Oh, you don't know if because she can see you? Yeah, she sees ya. So does anybody want to come up? Because if nobody wants to talk about this, then there's no reason for me to be here other than to say hello and Happy New Year. I'll let you guys decide. But I mean, if there's anybody who just needs to get something off their chest so they can let it go, you can just do that. You don't have to answer all the questions. Just double checking since everyone can see me, but you know, I don't know. Well, Moon Rain, I always want to say Moon Ray. That's weird. I mean, my channel depends on you guys. It depends on if you want to participate. If nobody wants to participate, then I mean, that's my content, is you guys, either playing a game, poetry, lyrics, um, or lives like this where we try to have a discussion. So I gotcha. I understand that. And you can't like barricade yourself in a bathroom. I know some people who do that with kids when they're on panel. They're like, I'm locking myself in. They can't get me. Yeah, I get it. It's a lot easier. Like, my son's in his room, so I got the whole upstairs to myself. My daughter's at work, and I'm able to be here. How was your 2023, and what would you like to change? Um, 2023 for me had a lot of ups and downs and a lot of lows. When it comes to YouTube, I've been through it. I have been through it a few times. Um, but in saying that, it's taught me some of the biggest lessons that I'm now very grateful to know. Um, it has brought me closer in faith to God, and it's helped me realize some of the things that I've done in the past. Um, I've learned to stop doing it, you know. Um, I had a very hard life, and there was a lot of abuse in that, and like always thinking that everything's my fault, and always apologizing, and not seeing people for who they are, not seeing the toxic traits of people, and learning to find people who are going to lift you up and be kind and be there for you. I've learned a lot of lessons. So, and saying that, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my friends. I'm grateful for the people I've met this year and have a strong relationship with now. And I'm grateful for my enemies. I'm grateful for the people who don't like me. Because the old Kim would seriously be affected by it and allow it to bring me down to where now I've learned not to react to it and I've learned not to care. So, what was your other question? What would I like to change for the new year? Well, I certainly would like um, to keep working on my self esteem and heal from my past. I like to be a person who's more bold, it has more confidence in myself and stop second guessing everything. So there, that's my those are my answers. Okay. I can be seen but Ernie, or I have stepped back and think about what people share. It's sad, but as long as we have people like 666 on here, I always have my guard up. Well, Terry, you got to, because there's always going to be people like that, and it's not just them. There's a lot of them out there. I can relate, my friend, and I can see the hurt as you speak. All I can see is a very kind-hearted person. I see so much hate towards you, and yet I don't see what's wrong with you. Yeah, there is a lot of hate towards me, and I pray for those people. I don't understand why there's so much hate towards me, but you know, when there's certain creators that don't like you and they have people that follow them that can't think for themselves, there's going to be more people who don't like you, and they won't even give you a chance to get to know you before they assume that you're one way when you're not. I see. Very good person who wants to belong and accept it. Well, Moonrain, um, I think we all want to be accepted. And when I first got to YouTube, that's acceptance, like I was searching for it, was more important than anything. When I come to realize that you just got to find the people who do and who like you, and that's your people, you know. Be with those people and don't try to beg others for acceptance, because there's going to be people out there that don't like you, and that's okay. Thank you, Moonray. Yeah, it's their mentality, because they know they can't be as kind as you. Well, I don't know if they want to be kind as I am. I think they do, they're comfortable with their misery and they're comfortable with hurting others. Okay, honey. You could come up, Tara. Hello, beautiful Mad Hatter.
Hello, beautiful Kim. I thought I'd come up here and keep you company.
Oh, well, thank you. Uh, I was gonna jump up on panel, but I don't want her knowing my business. Who are you speaking of, Tara? Who's her? That's sad she ruined it for so many people.
Huh?
Okay. I think I know who you're talking about. You know what, Tara? Don't worry about it. Who cares what they think? Seriously. They don't pay your bills. You don't know them in real life. Don't worry about it. And don't react to it. It's the best thing you can do. You are always welcome here, Tara. Always. Because she says, thank you for keeping me company.
Well, I'm trying.
I wish,
I don't know. I don't know about going deep into this day though, Kim. I don't know if I can do that the whole year.
well, I mean, just summarize it. Like, just short answers. Like, first one would be, what about this year was good for you? Or a blessing. It could be something small. Like we discussed yesterday, small things aren't really small, they're big. They can make a big difference in anybody's life. So
Being able to take care of my uncle for the past 2.5 months, knowing that I was giving him 100%, the right care that he needed, even though the hospice nurse neglected him.
right, and that is a blessing. And you gave him very good care, to where if he were in, like, say, a nursing home,
They
God
would
knows
ignore
what,
him.
like, yeah, he wouldn't have had that love. You gave him
Because I
that love
mean,
that he.
you gotta treat somebody that has brain damage differently. Somebody that's disabled, especially somebody that literally can only see with one eye and use one hand. And it's like I fought to the very end for him because that was my job. He's my
Right.
family. He will always. He's gone now, but he still will always be my family. I will always love my uncle, and I'll always miss him. And it's just like I'm just glad that I could be here to actually, kind of be like an advocate, not a power of attorney, but just, just make sure that he was taken care of the right way,
That's right.
and he
And you
was
did a
he was
wonderful
comfortable.
job. Hi, Gypsy.
So
Good to see you,
this
sweetheart.
year is pretty much about fighting. Well, not fighting somebody else, but just, fighting to survive and, learning new things and just constant, constant, constant. It's just,
Right.
in 2024, I want to be able to breathe a little bit, I mean, I'm not used to being this aggressive. I'm an
Oh, come
empath. I
on.
love people. No, I'm not. I am overprotective of the people that I love, but I mean, I only do that just so they can get the best care. I can't help that. That's in my blood.
It is. Okay, so you
But
kind of
late, what?
answered one and two. So what do you think taught you a good lesson?
Being
Like,
put
is there
under that
something
much
that?
stress. I guess what I mean at the end there, my anxiety popped up again, but like during the, just fighting through, everyday life and the 2.5 months, the past 2.5 months of hospice, home hospice, it
Mhm.
just, I don't know, like the fight. You learn to be more aggressive. You learn to interact with people more, so that you can communicate better instead of be afraid to have a conversation. So
Right.
it's kind of like pulled me out of my shell, even though I
Mhm.
don't like the reflection so much, because I think that's, I was a little too aggressive, but I was aggressive enough to get everything taken care of through the year.
Yeah. sometimes we surprise ourselves when something comes up in life and you got to step up and you just got to get it done, you know? Okay,
Yeah.
so what's something that you've discovered for the first time this year?
That I'm an asshole.
Oh, come on. You're not.
No, like when I'm fighting for the people that I love, like I can be a little bit too aggressive, or that yeah, I can be a little too aggressive. And I don't like being, like I said, I told you the other day, I said, I don't like being like this. You have to fight, fight, fight. And it's like, you got to fight to survive. But yeah, my empath self is like, you're love and light and blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, crap. It's
Yeah,
going to be that,
I
that
understand
German
that.
in my blood. It's going to be that German and Indian in my blood fighting all the
Any,
time.
I swear, anytime that I have to be aggressive and kind of mean, like put my foot down, after it's over, I'm like, oh, I feel so bad.
See?
Was I too mean? Oh, geez, they're gonna hate me now.
And see, when
Okay.
you're fighting for the people that you love, it's like you don't have a limit. There is no limit that you're setting for yourself. That is the person that you love. That is your mother, or your father, or your sister, or your brother, or your uncle, or your aunt. Like their blood. And if they can't fight
Right.
for themselves, you have to fight for them. And so, like, you do what you can, and you try to pull yourself back. But if you still have to, get things done, I mean, I'm not saying I wasn't nice to these people. I was nice. I was just more aggressive than I was, say, last year or the year before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We
So
like to
what
stay
are
away from that aggressiveness. We're neutral. We like to stay neutral.
I like to stay neutral. I'm like, I don't. Okay, so what are some things you're gonna work on for the new year? Because I know a lot of us don't like putting limitations by saying that we're gonna do this or that for the new year.
Loving myself more and learning to trust others again.
Those are good things to work on. Very good. Hi, Chris Gilbert. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah. So, is there anything that you want to get off your chest and let it go?
Mm, No, because that stuff's already dead to me. Because I mean, it's like the BS on here is just Kim, it's not worth it. Like
Oh, I know.
I literally, I'm well now that my stuff's out there. Yeah. I just watched my uncle die for 2.5 months, and
Hmm.
so like drama on YouTube, it's just you can't compare to that. You just when you're losing somebody that you love, and the one thing you want is them around for Christmas, and it just doesn't happen. But then you gotta, as a human being, you gotta understand it's like you gotta let them go because they're in a better place. But our human feelings are like, well, I miss him. I wanted to keep him here. You want to be selfish, but yet,
Hmm.
yeah, I wouldn't have wanted to see him struggle like that any longer.
Yeah. I lost my aunt this year, and it was just one health problem after another health problem. And it got to the point where she was suffering.
Yeah,
And so when she passed, I felt, sad because I was going to miss her, but I was happy. I was happy she was going to heaven. She wasn't going to suffer no more. She wasn't going to be sad, or she wasn't going to be in pain. She's going to see all the people she lost, you know? So I was
yeah,
like, heaven just gained another angel. Woohoo!
yep.
But yeah, I understand. I've had a lot of death in my life. It's hard. It really is.
So let's bring this party back up. I'm sorry, I didn't want to. I didn't want to bum anybody out. Like that's just honest, truthful, authentic. That's just me. You know that's just what's been going on, and through the whole year and the last 2.5 months that it really hit hard. And and trying to celebrate Christmas after that is very difficult. But
I know.
we still had food on the table and something to open, a present, to open. So and the lights
Lots of,
got put up, some of them anyway. I mean,
yeah. Hey, you had
I'm not.
the house
Yeah,
beautiful,
we
you
tried.
know?
The villages were lit, Kim, and that I am grateful. I actually am grateful that I did put those out because he did get to see those.
Yeah. Yeah, and it also helped your mom out because that's
Yeah.
something I know she enjoys seeing every year.
Yep, and I
So,
have to put them out every year. Is this light bulb working? How many light bulbs do I need?
did I blow a fuse? Oh no.
Yeah, is there a
I
fuse
don't think
in the outlet that's busted?
I don't have the patience anymore. Like my kids are grown. It's like if I have a tree up and a few, decorations that I always put up because I'm very traditional in the sense when it comes to holidays. Like tonight, my tradition for New Year's is to have food and money in your hand when the ball drops, you know, because it's all, it's something my mom and dad did as I was growing up because it's supposed to make sure you have food and money for the next year.
Okay, so I'm visualizing this. Tell me how this works, Kim.
What do you mean how it works?
No,
You
I'm
know,
serious. So if you're asleep at 11:30, you're gonna roll up and you're gonna wake up. Okay. So like, what do you put? Like a quarter in your hand, a dollar in here, whatever you have, and what? Like
whatever
a
you
muffin or
have,
something?
whatever you have, it could be only a couple dollars. And then if you have to just grab a can of food, you know?
I've never heard of that. I
Really?
know that everybody's got like the New Year's Day traditions on what they eat, and for some
Right.
reason I don't know if it's ham or pork chops. I think it's pork chops, like black eyed peas and cabbage. But now if it's something else, somebody tell me because like that's just what we've had in the past.
Like I told you the other day, like if people around here, it's sauerkraut and pork. They get a pork loin and they have sauerkraut with it. And I can't do sauerkraut. No. No.
And you
It
won't try
smells like a
cabbage.
dirty diaper. It smells like a dirty diaper. It
Yeah,
like
it does, but you won't do cabbage either.
I'll do cabbage like in a egg roll, but that's about it. Ugh. But like that no. Green bean what is it? Green money pork for something and black eyes for good luck. Oh, okay. So black eyed peas are supposed to bring you good luck.
They're nasty though. Now, what can you put with them? Because I was talking to Kim. Was the last night or the night before? Does anyone know what we're supposed to put in the black eyed peas? Because they don't really have a taste. It's kind of sour.
Oh, is it? I've never had them. I've never had it. Um, she said yes. I'm not sure what you're saying. Put Put some pork in them, she says,
Okay.
or bacon grease.
Bacon
Really?
grease.
Bacon grease.
Yeah, because we got the ham, but like I don't have the loin. I'm sorry. It's the purple apple at the Walmart. It got the ham, and I looked up where the pork loin was, or ham hocks. Ham hocks. I'm like, what the hell is a ham hock?
You're starting to robot a little bit.
Well, let me go
Bacon grease.
down. I'll and come back up again.
Okay. Black-eyed peas, fried cabbage with bacon, fried ham jaw, cornbread, best meal ever. Use ham picked to season. What is that? Like a southern thing? Like a southern meal? Because people up here don't do that. I don't know. Oh, Tara. Hello, beautiful Tara.
Hey, Kim. Yes, that's a very southern meal.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
because
yeah.
we don't do that up here. I'm like, no. It's pork and sauerkraut. That's it.
Yeah. Now, normally, my family is Native American and Russian. So,
Okay.
well, I'm three-fourths Native and one-fourth Russian. So we normally make cabbage rolls and you wrap money in aluminum foil and you hide it in the cabbage roll. So
For
whoever gets the
what?
most money, because if you win money, the tradition is you don't only the person making the cabbage rolls knows what money and how many have money. And you put them in a big pot, and you make your cabbage rolls, and everybody sits down to eat. And whoever finds money will have prosperity and riches throughout the year. That's the tradition.
Wow, I've never heard of that.
Mhm. It's a old Russian tradition. Like I said, my great grandfather and my grandmother were full blooded Russian. My dad's father and my mom's mother and father were full blooded Native American. So
Wow.
yeah, so it's kind of ties.
See,
Hmm.
I my great grandpa was an immigrant from Scotland, and on my mother's side, my great grandma was an immigrant from Ireland. So like, it's always been meat and potatoes.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
but you know what? That's not bad either.
But yeah.
Well, you take the cabbage rolls and you core the cabbage out and steam the head
Okay.
of cabbage. Then you got to let it
Uh
cool and peel it. After you've peeled off all the cabbage leaves, they look like little
huh.
egg roll wrappers almost, but they're real thin, like spring rolls.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you make hamburger, tomatoes, rice, onions, garlic, green pepper. All that gets mixed up, cooked together, and then you make little meatballs and put it in the cabbage rolls. Then you take the
That
money and you
sounds
wrap
good.
it in aluminum foil, stick it inside, and close
Uh
them
huh.
up and secure them. Put them in the pot. Oh yeah, I
Wow.
see
I'm gonna
people trying to
try
hunt for money.
that.
Oh, they're really good and they're easy to make and it's a lot of fun for the
Okay.
kids. Yeah, it's a lot of fun for my kids. They loved it growing up.
Cool.
So
Gypsy says
my
she's gonna put a wig on and come up.
come on,
Put the
girl.
blonde wig on, Gypsy. I want to see that. I love you too. So yeah, Tara, like I was saying before, it doesn't matter what these people say. It
Oh
doesn't
no,
matter
it
what they
doesn't, Kim.
think. You know, just stay away from it. If it bothers you, it's not worth it. Stick
Actually,
with
they're
people
so
that you know
irrelevant.
love you. You
Well,
know?
me and Tina have had this conversation back and forth and back and forth. And I've also had it with, Paul Liberator. And like I tell them, and Ray Jones, these people are so irrelevant, Kim, that there's a lot of times Nicolina had been telling lies on me for probably a year before I ever knew it because I just didn't care what she was doing. Um,
Um,
and actually found out by accident the lie she had been telling on me. I didn't even know her at that time. Especially not
wow.
well enough for her to I was just, somebody in Benny's chat that she decided she didn't
Uh,
like, so she was running her mouth about me. But then you look at traders and those people and what they've done, and they're so
mm,
toxic, and it's
they
such an
are.
evil. But it's a feeling of
It is.
evil.
It
I'm
is.
sorry.
Oh, you're
That's
fine.
my thing. Well, he's having a fix. He lost his toy. I just don't
Oh,
want them to know. Hold on, where is it, Zeke, so I can get it? Is it under there? Okay. I just don't want them knowing any more about my life because they're going to lie about it anyway. So what
yeah.
good
I mean,
anyway? Let them keep making up
they'll make
shit.
lies, honey. They'll make lies even when they don't know anything about you.
Exactly. And, it's kind of
You know,
funny,
Nick.
actually.
Yeah, Nick. You know what Nick said? Nick
Tell
said
no
that
telling.
Ernie was in Ohio and he was here to visit me.
Oh, where the hell she
That
get
was
that
the
crazy
rumor
from?
they came up with like a week or so ago.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, really? I don't think so. But
She can
whatever,
say that
whatever
she hates
floats your
Ernie.
boat. Huh?
I said, she says that she doesn't like Ernie and that he's a criminal. And she wants Ernie so bad she don't know which way she's going. She is just as bad as the rest of them.
Mm,
She is. Because you do not chase somebody around like that for no reason. And
right.
it's kind of pitiful, Kim. It really is. She gets on
It's
there and she
very
tries
sad.
to.
It really is sad. I mean, Mimi, thank you for being here. I hope you have a happy new year too, sweetheart. Thank you for being here and welcome. I haven't seen you before, so welcome.
It's
But no, I think
probably Nick.
it it could be, but hey, whatever.
Yeah,
Hey, Johnny.
Ezekiel.
Yeah, good to see you. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're having a good night, and I hope this coming year is better for you. Um, but no, it's sad when you really think about these people's lives. You
Yeah,
know,
it really is. What? It was like I was telling Ray last night. Here you are. You're supposed to be a wife and a mother. You're supposed to have a career, but you are so hung up on YouTube that if your channel gets taken down, you got to go find somebody else's channel to get on because you can't go one day without being on here.
right?
What are you so damn obsessed about? Is your life that bad? And it has to be. It has to be. You can tell the
She's
lies you
using
want to
YouTube to
tell.
fill a void. There's a void in her life, and
A huge one.
she's filling it with YouTube stuff.
But who wants to? I heard today Ernie was
Have
trying to
to
get me to
figure
come up on
people out.
panel. Hell, I'm
It's
on
just too
YouTube. I didn't
hard.
know Ernie was calling me. You know,
Yeah.
dang it, Zeke. I never heard him call him. He was calling for me to come up. Hell, I'm not even on YouTube. I just, it's just too much going on. And I was going to come up
Yeah.
and do the questions, but then I started thinking about it.
Uh huh.
Whether it's good or it's bad in my life, it's none of that bitch's business. The good or the bad.
Okay. So, well, at least you're getting it off your chest, and hopefully, sometimes when you do get things off your chest, you can let it go afterwards. Just let it go. You got it out
I listened
there.
to Rabbit.
It's
Did
your
you listen to Rabbit
chest.
last night?
I did not. I didn't know she was live.
She
What
did
was?
letting it go. Basically the same thing. She just let it all go and said just how she felt about this, that, and the other one and what had happened over the year. And,
I didn't know
it's just,
that. Now I
and
feel
it's
like I'm
exactly what you're
copying her.
saying. Yeah. No, but it is what
Yeah,
you're saying, and she's right.
yeah. I mean,
You both are
sometimes
right.
just getting it off your chest
Hmm.
is all you needed, and you can move on.
Well,
You know,
I have sat back and looked at this year And, you know, after being married 28 years
Mhm.
and 4 kids and 5 grandchildren, I caught my husband cheating with a 21-year-old.
I'm sorry.
Now, it's okay. I could have taken that as a diss to me, which I'm sure,
Mhm.
you know, people like Nicolina would like to believe. Or I could take it for
Yeah.
what it was a 65-year-old man, because he's quite a bit older than I am. And
Oh,
he's about,
okay.
yeah, he's 12 years older than I am. So I could have
Oh.
took that as a 65-year-old man who had a young girl flirting with him because she thought that he
Mhm.
had something to offer her money wise. And come to find out at the end of the day, he didn't, because the money came to me. I was the one with the
Oh.
money, not him. But he played that game well. And I guess he felt like he needed to do it because he didn't feel good about himself, you know? He was having to take Viagra and stuff like that. And
Mhm.
he never understood why I wouldn't fight with him about it or why I
Uh-huh.
didn't hate him about it. And it's like I told him, I've always told you, if you ever cheated on me, it was over with. You cheated on me, it's over with. There's nothing to discuss. I've had the same opinion for the 30 years I've been with you. So it's over
Mhm.
with. I don't know what psychological problem you had that made you feel like you had to do it, but you did it, and it is no more. And
Right.
now you pay the cost. Ezekiel. So, you know, I'm not paying for that. I didn't do it. That's between you and God,
Right.
buddy.
That's right. He's got to answer for that, not you.
You know, Kim, these
You
people
did
that
what
don't
you
believe
were
in
supposed
God,
to in marriage, you
well,
know?
you know, I still have not dated anybody. I've not gone out with anybody. I don't want to because I'm still legally married. No one is ever
Oh,
going to say that I broke my vow to God because I'm not going to.
yeah. Well,
They're like, well, you
you
must love
know,
him the more
I
he
was
cheated.
in a 20-year marriage and I'm still single, but I choose to be, you know? I don't really want to be with anybody. If God, sends me a godly man that's going to love me right, then it's going to happen.
That's how I feel,
But
Kim.
I'm trying to heal myself after all that abuse. Uh, 20 years is
Yes,
a long time, you know?
it is, especially when you live with someone who's abusive like I did. Like I said,
Yeah,
being so much younger, I did not realize until I always knew he was a narcissist. I did not realize just how dark a narcissist he was until finally got rid of him. And things come back
yeah,
to, I think I'll be laying down, I'll think about something, I'll be like, damn, how did you not catch that? But Kim, I was
right.
raising 4 kids.
Mhm.
I worked 60, 70, 80 hours a week. I had a sick mom. I had so much going on that when he would do something hateful or evil or whatever, I would just ignore him because I didn't have the energy to worry with it anymore. You know, my whole life was my kids, and especially having a foster child, she was a full time job now because she had come from some serious abuse. You know,
Mm.
so having her, and it was just when you get out of it and you step back and you look and you realize, wow, you just overlooked that because why didn't you care at the time? But I was
Right.
sick, you know, I had broke my back during that time. A lot of things had
Mhm.
happened. So now I'm like you. If God wants it to happen, it'll happen. But as far as it going out and finding somebody, only thing I care
Yeah,
about right now is my grandkids. You know,
right.
seriously. And
Right.
I've been making sure that when I'm gone, that they get everything and that they're well set up for the rest of their lives. And the hell with the rest of it. That's the only thing that matters is them.
Mhm.
And I
Okay,
told
so
my kids that.
let's talk about something uplifting though. What is one thing that you discovered this year that you've never known before, like a good thing that you're like, "Oh, this is awesome. I'm so glad I found this," you know?
Wow.
Yeah. You're like, that's a tough one.
No, Kim, it is because I have lived such a full life. I've lived in so many places and I've been exposed to so many things in my life. Um,
Yeah.
and I hate to sound like I'm trying to brag or say I'm so well versed,
No, you're
but
just
really
well
everything that's
experienced.
anything that's ever really interested me, I've always had the ability or the means to be able to pursue it. So I've always
Uh-huh.
been blessed in that way. Um,
That's good.
really, nothing really has made me go, wow, not this year.
Not
Um,
this year.
no, it's been a long time since anything's really made me go, wow. Except, like I said, I am so focused on my grandchildren and this crazy Doberman I got here that, he's been like raising another child, literally. Uh, training him and dealing with him and him being, because Dobermans are like 3-year-old children. That's what their IQ says that. So,
Yeah.
and my daughter's pregnant again. So we're getting ready to have another grandbaby.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah.
That's
So, I mean,
awesome.
my
I
grandchildren,
can't wait to have grandkids. I mean, I can. Like my kids need to be in different situations and a little bit older, but I can't wait to have grandkids. You
oh,
know,
girl,
I love kids, little babies, and the way they smell. I'll spoil them
mine are
and
so
give
rotten, they stink.
them. Well, I mean, I spoiled my kids, and they're well rounded.
Well, I spoiled mine too, but like I said, these little monsters, it's different. You don't realize it until you have them. And
Mhm.
that's, just like the other day, I had all my financial stuff sitting out in front of my daughter. I said, okay, this is this, and this. This is what I'm worth. This is what I have. This is what you're getting. This is what your brother's getting. And she's like, where's the rest of it? The rest of it's going to your son and your daughter. You guys don't
Yeah.
get it. It's going to them in a trust fund. And she was like, oh, okay. But I guess what I'm trying to say is there was a time I would have never thought that everything I had worked for in my life I would ever give to anybody but him, my son and my daughter.
Yeah.
Now, my daughter told my son, she's like, we've been replaced, right? He's like, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We were replaced the day that little boy popped out of you. I was in there when he was born. So, I've seen both of my grandchildren born. Um, Literally, I was in the room with them. Um,
Oh,
you
wow.
know,
See, I would love to see that. I've only been on
yeah,
the giving end.
it is so different, Kim, when you have them.
Uh-huh.
Even Ashley got married recently, and to a boy that she dated off and on all through high school, and they ended up back together later on. 10 years later, 8 years later.
Yeah,
But
that's
she's married to him now, yeah, and he's got a little boy by his first wife. That little boy calls
oh.
me grandma. Oh, he calls me Nana too. Zeke, stop.
Oh.
So I got another grandchild now. But I mean, you just
So what's the ages of your grandkids?
6, 7, and 8.
Okay. That's when
Yep.
they get to be fun because then you get games and play toys and tell stories and
Oh yeah,
yeah,
they've
kids.
always had big personalities, and you know, my grandson was the first grandchild on all the families. So, like I said, he was spoiled rotten. Um, my granddaughter, she's spoiled rotten. I imagine
Mhm.
this one's going to be too. That's coming. And I'm
Oh
knowing my
yeah,
youngest is
you know it. They will
Zeke.
be. Hello, Erin. Good to see ya. Welcome to
I know
my
people get sick of
channel.
him.
We are just talking about what 2023 was to us. You know, the good, the bad, and the lessons that we learned from it, and what we hope for the next year coming. So you are anybody's welcome to come up on panel. You don't have to cam up, but I would love to hear your experiences.
Yeah, I
Well,
absolutely
you know,
refuse.
I I am grateful that I've gotten to meet you, Tara,
Oh,
and
same here, Kim.
2023 brought that. Even through all
It
the
did.
ugly and bad, I've met some really nice people,
You know,
and
I
I'm
have
grateful
too.
for that.
I have. I have to, Kim. I have to agree with that. You know, Ray Jones, the Liberators. I'm really close with, especially Mom and Pa Liberator. You know, really
Yeah,
close to them. Matter of fact,
that's cool.
they're like family now. Um, but I've also seen things in people that I thought that I would never see after leaving high school.
Right. Yep. Completely. That's what
And that's what
that community's about. They're not mature, they're still in high school.
it's just
Yeah.
they're just so damn evil, Kim. I mean,
Well, Tara, you
it's
just
just
gotta
pure
pray for
evil.
'em. Unfortunately, this is what the world's coming to,
I
and
know,
you
I
just
know.
got to pray for those people, regardless if you want to hang out with them or whatever.
Oh no, I
You
wouldn't be
know.
caught dead hanging out with those people.
Oh, me neither. Oh,
There ain't no
oh,
way.
I learned my lesson. I've had some hard
Yeah,
lessons, but I've
you
learned
did,
from it.
Kim. You did. They treated you really shitty, and you did. You really took it. You took one for everybody. You did. I used to sit back and just think, my God, what? Leave her alone. Damn. Yeah, and they tried to do me like that. You know, there was.
I know.
She thought she was doxing me. Well, you can't dox me because I use an alias online, so don't really care there. The only person who knows who I truly, honestly am is Paul Liberator and Ma Liberator. Um,
Hmm.
and I hate to be that way, but I've always been that way because of my job. I've always used an alias, and it takes a lot of years to build a good alias up. Let me tell you, it does. But it is possible, and it's for anybody who doesn't want to be involved in drama and BS. I strongly suggest you're not lying if you don't use it to hurt anybody. That's how I always felt. This was just
Right.
who people thought I was, or this is who people think I am. And it is me. It's just not my real name. It's not really where I live. Um, you don't really see my pictures. I've hid a lot of stuff, and I did that for a reason because I was very high
Well,
up with a Japanese company, and I didn't want the drama to spill over into what I was doing with them. I spent 30 years with these people,
smart.
but
That's pretty smart.
and it was really funny because we were on Easy's one night, and
Uh
Nicolene was
huh.
over talking about Tara Swan, and me and Easy are laughing, and I finally said, "Should I tell her?" You do know that's an alias, right, Nick? That's not me, you dumb bitch.
Oh, I would have loved to seen your face.
Everybody was like, because Easy knew kind of. I had told him before that I wasn't who he thought I was. Um,
Uh huh.
and I don't think he didn't really. But when I said it, he was like, "Oh, cool, damn, I see now." These people, they don't really know who I am. And it's like I said, it's not hard to have an online persona that's not
Uh-huh.
that is an alias. As long as I don't feel like I'm lying because I don't hurt anybody with it. I don't scam. I don't use, you know,
Right.
the people that I'm
You're
very,
not.
very questioning. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
get
hear
it.
this?
I do. It's like a squeaky bed. Someone jumping on a squeaky bed.
He has got this Pokemon toy that squeaks.
Uh
He
huh.
has been laying down. He does this every time I get on the phone. He starts squeaking his toys in my face.
Oh, jeez.
It drives me crazy.
I bet.
He has been laying down and quiet. And as soon as I decide to come up online and hears me talking, it's
Uh
on
huh.
then. He's jumped up now, got his toys, and he's playing and making noise. And
What kind of dog do you have?
I have a European Doberman.
Oh, okay.
He if you put them side by side, they look
Uh huh.
very much like the Americans. The only difference is the Europeans are a little bit bigger. They grow to be bigger. They're a little taller, a little heavier. and they have a little bit more attitude. The American Dobermans are being bred more for like a family pet, where the
Yeah.
European Dobermans are still being bred for protection. So they have
Oh,
more,
okay.
yeah, they have more of an attitude. But yeah, he's a bad boy now. He's that bad. He's looking at me and you just squeaking at me. You said Tim wants to hear your toy.
Most dogs like to like tear the toy up and get that squeaky out of the toy.
He adores his toys. He's got two baskets full. And I mean, he
Oh,
literally loves them like a child loves her toys. My sister's like, I've never
oh,
seen a dog love toys like this. I said, I know. And Lord, don't let him tear one up because if it gets thrown away, he will mourn it.
uh,
I mean, I have to show him that it's gone before he gives up on it.
that
And he will.
reminds me of this cute video I saw. This woman had a big dog. It was some type of shepherd, and she's trying to pick up all the toys, and every time she puts a toy in the basket, the dog would take the toy out and put it back.
I have seen that video, and that is me and Zeke's life.
Is
He's
it?
like, no. He's like, now put my baby up. Give me back my baby. My baby's not going up. That's exactly what he does. I'll get up in the middle of the night and walk down the hallway and step on something, squeak. And it's that's just like having kids again,
Oh,
Kim. I
that would
swear it
just
is.
give me a heart attack. Cause I go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and I'm like sleepwalking, basically.
Me too. That's
I
what I
step
say.
on.
And you step on one of
I
those
feel
about
like
2 o'clock in the morning, going down a dark hallway, and it's like, ah.
God. I probably.
That's what I say. I have, they're all over the house. I'm forever picking up toys when he goes to bed at night and stepping on toys.
Oh.
And oh yeah, I've stepped on bones like Legos, and it's just like it's like having a kid home. It is. I swear, it's just like having a kid.
Oh.
My my son just came down. He lives in another state, and
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, he's a matter of fact, he's went to go stay with one of his buddies he ain't seen since he's been gone. But he'll be back tomorrow. But he was like, "Wow, I don't know how you do that, Mom." I said, "Same way I did with you and your sister, and your other sister and your other sister." You just do it. He's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, he's like a baby." I said, "I know he is. Tell me something I don't know." Run around here squeaking in
They
your
are.
face and what that. So, but yeah, I seen that video too, and that's why I said, this is my life." It was just like watching myself on TV, trying to
I'm
argue with
telling you.
Zeke.
Yeah, I'm telling you what. If you're having a bad day, or you're down in the dumps, some of those animal videos and the ones that they do the oh, what's the word I want to say? The commentary of what
Oh
the
yeah,
animal was saying
who
can
is that
just
guy?
brighten up
Rockstar or whatever
the day.
does him? That's
I love
hilarious.
Rockstar.
Me too. He is
He's-
hilarious. He really is funny.
I like that one guy too. You ever heard of Kifness?
Yes, yeah, he's cool too.
I love him.
Yeah,
I
I
can't
watch a
believe
lot of the
he
animal
does
ones.
tours. He actually has tours.
I know,
I'm
ain't that
like, how
right?
does that work?
I don't know how they do it, but I'll tell you, it's pretty daggone neat. It really is.
It is. I agree.
Zeke's like, "What are you
But
doing, mommy?"
I love that kind of stuff. When
Me too,
there's
Kim. I
nothing
really
on,
do.
I love watching animal videos. I love watching music and those music reaction channels. I love watching. I know this is kind of funny, but I enjoy watching like the videos where the cops pull people over.
Oh, I love those. Oh, they're
So
so
do
cool.
I.
Especially the coolest one though I've ever seen, and it wasn't cool, but when that cop pulled that boy over in that Camaro, you see the one that
Uh-huh.
and the owner was in the trunk dead, and
Oh
he was
yeah, because there was like 3 bullet shots by the door.
yes, he was gonna
Oh
let that boy
yeah,
go, and something
I
just kept telling
know.
him, "Don't do it, don't do it." And I was sitting there, but see, everybody does know, and that is the truth that my brother's a DEA agent. Um, so when you hear the real stories, that's why I got started watching the videos. Is he would
Uh-huh.
tell us real things that he had experienced, and my uncle was retired FBI. Now that is true. So
Huh?
I really got into it at a young age because I was exposed to it. And that's why I say you start watching them cop videos and it's like, oh, yeah, he's got drugs. You know he's
It's
got
like a
drugs.
rabbit hole. It's you just like it's a rabbit hole. There's been
It
days where that's all
is.
I watch. It's like I'll watch those, and I'll watch like interrogations.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know.
You watch
Mhm.
Crime Circus guy?
Yes.
He's had
Yep.
some, he's had some creepy the interrogations.
Uh huh.
Whew. He's had some hard ones to watch.
I. Oh. Oh, and I like Christina Randall. You ever watch her?
I haven't watched Christina in a long time. I used to love her. I got burned
Oh.
out on her when I was in the beauty community. You know,
Oh.
there was so much
Okay.
drama over there
Uh
that
huh.
I just got so tired of that drama. And how in the hell I landed up over here in this drama, I do not know.
I
But
don't either. I
that's
started
where I
out.
started out was in the beauty community.
Oh, really? I
Oh,
started out with Chris Watts, and then it went from Chris Watts to Summer Wells, and I was strictly into true crime stuff, like interactively, and then I somehow managed to get myself in the drama community.
yeah, I don't know how I ended up. Well, I do know how I ended up over here. I ended up over here because of Summer Wells. Um,
Right.
because I watched the Chris Watts one too. I got into
Mm.
that.
Oh
Like I said,
yeah.
you know, and then Benny. I
Benny.
remember Benny. BK.
Yeah.
Um, watched Benny
I watched
forever.
some of his, but I wasn't like I didn't watch him all the time. You
Well, I
know.
started watching him with Summer Wells, but I had
Uh huh.
watched Benny before that. Because when he first came on YouTube, he had his channel was about self awareness and, you know, facing his
Oh.
mental illness and
Uh huh.
what he went through to survive it and stuff. So I would run into him here and there, and then like I said, next time I was in there with Summer. But yeah, Benny. A lot of people they don't realize Benny is an actual genius. Um, had he wanted to be, he could be a serial killer. He could be because he could be scary. He is so
I could see him being
sophisticated.
scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he understands things on levels that other people don't. But you know that comes from the different elements he's had growing up, and I think
Right.
people who are bipolar or schizophrenic or you know autistic, whatever, their minds do work different than ours. You know, like you said,
Right.
he sees music, he sees it as like we see words, like a savant would see it, and Benny could have been anything Benny wanted to have been. He was because he's brilliant. He is. He's just got that one side that he just can't keep himself out of trouble.
Right.
You know, a lot of people don't like him, but I do. I've always liked him. I guess because, like I said, I knew him Kim back before he was into Summer Wells when he was first
Uh-huh.
coming on, talking about his life and stuff. And I have a cousin who's schizophrenic, and I guess I kind of just really related to what he was saying because I could see a lot of those things in my own cousin. Actually, I have two
Right.
cousins that are schizophrenic. One of them was from whatever, and the other cousin is schizophrenic from drug PCP and angel dust he did as a teenager.
Oh,
But
jeez.
oh yeah, he's fried. He's fried. But and my other cousin, he's schizophrenic, but I guess his is whatever causes it, environmental, um, birth, whatever. But like I said, my youngest cousin, his is from drugs. But you
Oh,
know,
I.
yeah. But if you sit down and you listen to Benny, he's got a good
Uh-huh.
heart and he's a good person. He just can't quite get over that fence.
Right. I could see that he could have a good heart.
He does.
Yeah.
And he loves that little boy. Now, you can say what you want to about that man, but he
Uh-huh.
worships the ground that little boy he walks on. Now, that he does. I will give him that.
That's a good
And he's
thing.
done some real stupid things because of that little boy, as far as like the
Right.
mother getting
Uh-huh.
himself in trouble, being, But yeah, yeah. I think
I've
he's a
never.
good father to him.
That's good. That's good.
I don't think
Um.
he wasn't to his daughter, but to the little boy. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Aaron, I've
That's a
never
good.
seen BJ investigations. Aaron says that under an MRI examination, that the uh,
BJ
psychosis.
investigations.
How you say that? Psych.
Psychosis or
Oh
the
no,
psychotic brain.
psychotic brain is almost in
Undeterminated.
terminated the high functioning brain.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Love you. Be
Oh
careful.
wow. Yeah, that is
My
pretty. That's interesting there. I need to look into more of that because me and Tina have talked a lot about this, but the big part of my management experience was working for the company I worked for. Was they were big on all their managers and supervisors um, having a lot of psychological training because we
uh-huh.
ran facilities. I mean, I would have 500-600 people under me at any given time in a facility that was 2 to 3 miles long. So
That's
you
a
had to
lot
be
of
ready with something. Yeah. So they taught us how to look for things, warning signs. Um,
uh-huh.
this person's something's not right. They're stressed out. Is this person getting ready to snap? So there's a lot of things they teach their employees that I wish more American companies would teach because it's really
Yeah.
fascinating. It's really fascinating.
I think the human brain is very fascinating. And I think that's why a lot of people really like getting into the true crime is because we're trying to understand how people
Sit
could
more.
be that way
I
and
feel that's
how
it
they were,
too.
how they think. There for a while I got into like the whole body language,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, people's body language.
Well,
I
yeah, that's
thought that
something
was
that
fascinating.
it is, and that's kind of one of the things we learned when we go to the seminars was that's what I say
Uh-huh.
how to look for warning signs because the human body. Let's just say, I'll give you a perfect example. We had a guy come in one night, and we knew he was stressed out. You could
Mhm.
tell there was something really wrong with this dude. Totally different than he normally was. Worked with him for many years. Long story short, after lunch, we were on midnight shift. After lunch, um, they come tell me, they said, he's acting irrational. There's something really wrong. When he came back, he was just, and he said, which I wasn't his supervisor, but, we all kind of watched out for each other. And
Uh-huh.
he left. He went home.
Oh.
Well, he got a phone call at lunch saying his wife's boyfriend was at the house and she had another man there.
Oh, geez.
That morning, we found out that he had gone home and murdered his wife.
Wow.
Yes. Um,
Wow. I wouldn't know
so
how to like react to that.
when you work for a company that employs 4 to 5,000 people on 3 shifts, 365 days a year, you meet
Uh-huh.
and outside contractors and you know all the supplemental help that's brought into this type of facility. You That's what they wanted you to see. They wanted you
Right.
to recognize, okay, was he a danger to somebody in this plant?
Uh-huh.
Was he showing up? That's what they're looking for. Are you high functioning stress? Is a term they like to use a lot. High functioning stress.
Oh, okay.
Hmm. Are you going to snap? Because I've seen some pretty vile and brutal things happen in there over the years. But you have
What
that
I don't
many.
get is those people that act seemingly themselves, like, and then they just snap one day. Like there was no signs, you know. They weren't acting different. They were just them. And then just one day they snap. And it's like, how does that work? I mean, you would have to really feel strongly about doing that. You would think.
I don't know. Those type of people, And like I said, I don't have no big degrees. I just know what I was trained in over the years. And I had
Yeah.
a lot of extensive training. But those people almost make me think of someone like Ted Bundy, who was a sociopath.
Uh-huh.
I'm your brother, I'm your husband, I'm your son. You don't see it coming because I'm the same every day until it's already
Yeah.
happened. You know?
Right.
And, and see, that fascinates me because what makes a sociopath? What makes a psychopath? What makes somebody narcissistic? Um, what makes a serial killer? Are you
To
one or
me,
two or more? Yeah.
I think it stems from childhood. You know what I mean? It stems from the environment they were put in, or, the abuse or the neglect. And they can't work through it. They can't, you know what I mean? And it just builds and builds and builds.
I know that's a big thing with me and my daughter. She's had a college. She's got her bachelor's in psychology,
Oh,
and
okay.
yeah, and that's one thing that she and I have argued over nurture and nature.
Yeah.
We don't seem to agree on that. you know,
Oh.
she thinks it's always nature. It's it's
Uh-huh.
it's that person's nature, and I'm like, no, it's not. Look
I
at
don't think so.
you and your brother and your sisters, and look at how different all four of you are. Okay, let's take the foster child out of this because she was highly abused when I got her. Okay, she
Uh-huh.
was she was already, I hate to say damaged goods because nobody's damaged goods, but she had been through and has seen so much that even as a
Right.
grown adult now, I'm still in contact with her and her children, and she's had a hard time. But with that
Yeah.
said, um, let's just take your sisters and your brother. All of you were raised by the same man and woman in the same
Mhm.
environment with the same jobs. Because my husband worked where I worked. We've both been there 30 years. Well, I had been there 28. He'd been there 30. But, they were raised with both of us working the same shift, okay? So
Right.
everything was identical in how they were raised. Financially, we were able to give each one of them the exact same things. It wasn't like, well, the oldest got less because we were poor at that time. It wasn't like that. It was, everything was almost mirrored. And this is, I'm
Yeah.
getting to a point, Kim. Give me a second so you understand what I'm saying. Okay, there's a point to this craziness.
No,
But
I'm
Okay.
here. And hey, by the way, hello, ladies. Good afternoon. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interject
Hello.
in your conversation, but this is like totally my line of. This is all in my line of world, and actually, I maybe might be interested in some of the things that I'm starting to cover that I could actually use a little outside if anybody's interested in it. Because
oh, okay. Hey, well,
Okay.
let me finish this with Kim because
yeah,
this I think is a really important thing.
yeah, go on, go on. I'm
So
here.
you've got
I'm
you've
muted.
got three children, all raised the identical way, all
Right.
with the same um advantages or disadvantages. Each one of my
Mhm.
children, I've got one that went to Penn State with a master's and a PhD, another one that went to Carolina on a full scholarship. So everything was the exact same. The other one didn't want to go to college. Hey, that's fine too. But what I'm trying to say is they are so different that each one of them, it is not, I don't think it's so much their nature and their nurture. And I had a thought and I lost it when he came on. I'm sorry. But if you go back and you look at my youngest daughter, her
Uh-huh.
life, Kim, mirrors mine to a T. And let me
Wow.
explain. No, let me explain a little bit of that. Okay. She
Mhm.
was married prior. So was I. She got married young. So did I. She had two children. I had two children. The boy that she's married to now has a son. When I married Steve, he had a daughter.
Okay.
Now we have a foster child, but she's getting ready to have another baby of their own. But
Uh-huh.
everything in her life, all the way down to just about the exact age I was, mirrors my life completely. It's like looking back at myself and being parallel. So
Right.
was that nature or was that nurture? And that's where I was trying to get till I got sidetracked. But because
Mm.
I mean, you see what I'm saying? And my sister,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
it's
do.
so obvious. My
I
sister
do.
is like, every single thing you did, she has done. I said, she don't even realize it. If I were to point that out to her, she would look at me
Hmm.
like, no.
But it also could be the perspective of that kid, what they saw, what they felt from their childhood. You know, maybe your daughter admired you to the point where she had the life or the same type of life that you did.
And you would think from hearing her tell it, because she was the brat, okay? She was the baby, she was the brat. She's
Hmm.
the one that was 2.5 months early, and I almost lost her. So she was, like I said, she was definitely the brat baby. And she'll tell you she was.
So what
Doesn't
does
matter.
Aaron have? Let's have Aaron talk a little bit here.
Are you're good. I mean, I'm fascinated. You are such a wonderful storyteller, and such an interesting person. I'm sorry, I do not know your name, and I'm trying to get it to pull up. I know Kim,
It's
but
Tara. It's
I'm sorry,
Tara. Her
Tara.
name
Tara.
is
Tara.
Tara.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I
But
know you, Kim. I've seen you for a while. Maple
But
syrup. But no, Tara, nice to meet you.
it's nice to
Fascinating,
meet you too.
super
Thank you.
fascinating. I love hearing somebody who's lived life, who has something to say, who's not just bloviating on nasty. So it is so refreshing. Thank you.
I hate
Um,
nasty. I hate drama. That's like when Kim was asking us earlier about, you know, I wanted to come up and do the conversation with her.
yeah,
And I thought, you know what? I really am not in the mood tonight to watch certain creators run amok because they're sitting there biting their nails, hoping I'm going to say something they can use against me.
you and I both. So you and I are, I'd say, very interesting little mirror going on here. So here's another just thing is that yeah, I don't, I am there too with you. I'm not interested in the drama or drama, any of
Yeah.
that. And by the way, the actual term for the sector is called krama,
Yes.
underneath the bash sector. So like literally, it's a sector called the bash sector, where
Okay.
that's the
really,
whole thing. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
Um,
said. Are you really okay? Tell me more about this.
Oh no, that's a whole thing. That's a whole thing. Wait, before I forget though, I just want to interject to that one last thought is that so there's a couple other uh things that can affect a person's life and differences. And you mentioned that your daughter's, was preemie. That can change a person's metabolic and or their neurological systems, the way they perceive things can become no matter what, you can take two kids, twins that are exactly the same, raise them in the exact same environment, and they'll end up as completely different people. Same as if you have, you'll get similarities. There are some weird cases in the world we found that there are similarities. People will become similar in separate situations, actually, as opposed to the same. It's more
Right.
often in the same situation that people become separate, uh, just in comparative. So there's a lot of explanations for that. But that's what you were talking about is early on. Yeah, true. You're
Well, I tell you what
people.
fascinated me, and you might like this a lot. My son has a master's and a PhD. He
Mm.
went to Penn State. Yeah, the kid's brilliant. But we were talking. My youngest granddaughter came to me the other day. Now listen to this. I believe in God. I don't, I don't. I won't get into the philosophicals of it, but I do believe in God. My granddaughter told me, and she's always told me this. I know God. Yes, I know. Nana, I remember God. Yes, I know you remember him. But and she's like, I know Jesus. I said, yes, I know. She's talking about she knows him like I would know Kim, okay? Or I would know
Yeah.
you,
Oh yeah. Well.
okay? But what was so fascinating, and this is what me and my son were talking about, and I never thought about this till today when he brought this up. But um, she told me that Jesus tapped her on the shoulder and whispered in her ear the other day that the baby was going to be a girl and for her not to tell nobody. So it was my her secret because I'm the one she tells all her secrets to. Okay. So
oh,
yeah, yeah.
Whoa.
I'm the one she tells everything to. But
oh, did we leave you?
Oh, okay. I thought that was me for a second because I live in the boonies. So I'm like, no, oh, there's
no,
Stranger.
no. She started talking about shadow people.
Yeah.
And she was telling
Oh,
me
no
about,
way.
she was telling me about shadow people, and when she would see this shadow person, and she's done this. She's 6 now, but she's done this for ever. Her mother was the same way. Her mother used to talk about God and Jesus and being mad at God because she didn't want to come back. She remembered him forcing her back. But my son, with all the education, they were doing a study, and he made, it's a new thesis, that children all the way back into the womb are cognate and they have conscience. So when she's telling me about shadow people, he thinks that she's talking about me and her mom and daddy. And when she is remembering back to when she was first conscious enough to know that there was somebody different or somebody around her, but she couldn't see them. Unfortunately, my son is leans more towards atheism than he does Christianity, but
Uh,
that is nothing I can,
Well,
you know.
there's an
But
interesting thing in that consciousness and what that you're talking about. I study and have always studied and started with just physics because I started as an audio guy as an adult, you know. So you have to study physics, and I actually specifically studied an area called psychoacoustics, which is understanding how people perceive the audio, basically, and the light. Um,
and you know
and
Benny Keys?
I'm aware of him. Not a personal fan. I know you are, but there's to each
Well,
their own.
no, don't get me wrong. I love Benny.
Yeah.
I'm not going down Benny at all because I know Benny's history. But when you're talking about that audio, what you just said,
Mm.
the keys,
Oh,
I've
you
heard him talk about that a
talking about
lot. Yeah.
psychoacoustics? Yeah.
Yes, I've heard him talk about that a lot.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, don't get me wrong. Now, I'm not
Yeah.
stupid. I know what Benny's capable of. I know what he's done,
Yeah.
but I
Well, see,
also know
sorry.
the
Go ahead,
whole.
Tara.
Probably, I know more than the people who's just come in the last couple of years because I've known him
Sure.
so long.
Well,
And
here's
I've
the
told
other
Benny
thing is
that.
I don't hold that stuff against. I don't believe we live in a world that McCarthyism is okay.
No, it's
I
not.
might
I don't
not
think so
like
either.
him. Well, look, I might not like key lime pie, or I'm sorry, let me correct this. Let me be factual about this. I may not like pumpkin pie, but you like pumpkin pie. That doesn't make you evil because you like pumpkin pie.
Right.
And that's called false equivalency, or I'm sorry, false association equivalency. And it is actually a psychological issue. It is normally found by people who are either devout or xenophobic, or generally it's just saying you're not open-minded folks to have a problem accepting others for liking things that they don't like, and it's an
right.
unreasonable state of being.
Yes.
And it's like we wouldn't get anywhere in the world. We wouldn't get anything done. There would be no negotiations. There'd be no art. There'd be no nothing if we all lived that way. And that's how fascism begins. That's, if anything, in the background, that's one of my things. But I want to go back to the shadow people because what you said is very interesting. I've seen a lot of this reported where, and to understand is, at the beginning of life, there is never not a time of consciousness because of all kinds of things. And let's just look at it this way. Recording is started with us recording magnetically, meaning that there were tiny filaments being put into order to make the sound when it was played back, read electronically. And a lot of people don't realize this, but your headphone is also a microphone if you plug it into the microphone in. It's not just an output, it's an input. It just depends on which way what's called excursion, the speaker is moving. That's just because everything is electricity. Everything is waveform, you know?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That said, the shadow people, lighting, color, that's all waveform too. When we were younger, our optic nerves and the back of our optic nerves and the cones and the rods in our eyes, they pick up way more color registry, and our brain figures out how to focus in so we can focus on certain things. So as people are younger, the idea has really become more mainstream than it was before, that kids perceive way more and hear way more than we do because their brains are still learning how to tune things in. And from an audio or from a mixing point of view, it's like when you start out in life, you don't. I'm sorry, I've got a brand new kitten, and the older cat is just like not having it right now. Sorry.
It's fine. I've got a Doberman that's been raising Cain for an hour.
Oh, she. It's so cute, but pissing everybody off. Sorry.
Yeah. So you came at a perfect time. He finally went and lay down. He's tired of yelling.
Oh yeah. This, and by the way, the kitten, as I'm saying this, just used me as a climbing tower. So okay.
Yeah, you're fine. We understand.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really about this thing where they're in our perspective as humans, we see only so much, and that's has to do with fight or flight, our neurological patterns, are the rods in our eye, cones in our eyes, and it all kind of fuses at the front of our brain. Our logic centers in the right brain interprets information from the metaphor into the left brain, which is logic centers. I mean, like these are processes that humans learn. The brain forms to learn, and it's not by observation, but by just function. Using it. Kids have not yet learned that. Kids have not yet formed that. We don't get that fully. Actually, it's not done until you're like almost 30. And, and so when I hear the story of like a child, because I also have an anecdotal state of my brother Robert saying something similar to my grandfather, of God telling him that he's everywhere.
Yes. Yeah.
Like that's what still one of these stories where like granddaddy told us that story to remind us, like that's what Robert told him as a child, and
Uh-huh.
and so when I hear this story from you about your, and whatever you believe, if it was a relative, say that's a spirit living right there next to you, you just don't know. Maybe it's another dimension. Maybe it could be so many things. We could
I agree with that. I agree
speculate.
with that. And being Native American, I guess I am. I hate to say I'm more spiritual than somebody else because I'm not, but I
Mm,
kind of have a different perspective of spiritualism. Being
mm,
Native American because I am Christian and
mm.
I am Native, and it kind of gets tied in there together.
Yeah.
But the when you hear them speak of the Great Spirit,
Mm,
to me that is God. Okay,
mm,
um, that's just kind of how I feel about it. But what
mm-hmm.
was fascinating me was the concept of when she was becoming conscious enough to realize.
Oh.
She's about to impart the secrets of the universe. See what happens.
Come back,
Well,
Tara.
like I tried to explain
Just
to him,
Oh, there you go.
I would agree with that, except for she has seen shadow people, as she tells me, um, as an older child of 3 and 4. So she
Oh.
wasn't just becoming consciously aware at that age; she was already aware.
wow.
My youngest, her mother, announced to me one day that she hated God. She was two
Oh.
and a half years old,
Mm,
and my grandfather, which was my mother's stepfather, was a preacher.
mm-hmm.
And I was trying to explain to her why you don't hate God, because it just tore my mom out of her frame.
Oh
Mm,
my God.
Being raised in a religious family, I thought my mother
yeah.
was going to have a stroke. And I was trying to
Meanwhile,
explain to
she's having the
Ashley,
existential crisis of a 70-year-old. Anyway.
yeah. And I was trying to tell this child, I'm like, no, honey, you don't hate God. This is why, blah, blah, blah. And she looked at me and just as serious as she could be, she said, you don't know him. I do. I didn't want to
Wow.
come back. I didn't want to come back. This is how she's talking. I didn't want to come back. He made me. And I'm not happy about it.
Well,
I said, and I hold my hand to God. Strike me dead if I'm telling you one word different than what that baby said to me and my mom. And my mother looked at me and I looked at her. I said, I don't know what to say. And she told my
That's
mother one day, sitting in her high chair, this was another weird thing. She was about 18, 19 months old. She looked at my mother in a deep voice especially for a baby.
mm-hmm.
She was eating vegetables, right? And she looked down at it, looked at my mother. She said, "I'm tired of this shit."
Yeah.
oh. Oh.
And my
Cute. It's
mom,
been both cute and also like
I
what?
would be laughing my butt off. I
but
wouldn't be able to
mom,
help myself.
the deep voice is what scared mom so bad. But she said it wasn't like her voice; it was like a deep, almost like a man sounding voice. But she looked at the
Oh.
vegetables and looked at my mom and said, "I'm tired of this shit." And
Holy mackerel. That's well. So
you
hey,
know,
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you.
no, I was just gonna say it makes the Bible. These people who are total religious say that reincarnation is not true, but I'm gonna tell you what. I think it is. I do. I think we're reincarnated. I think it's
I've
just
got
Yeah.
one.
us.
I've got
But
one for you. So I'll put it into the
okay, go.
world of science. I got one for you because what you're talking about aligns with everything that I've studied. And I've gone a long pathway through, let's say, religious values, and I've studied a lot of things. I've read all the religious books and thought I was a Buddhist for a while, and I've come to actually kind of find that I'm more Lao Tzu than anything, which is like a surfer of the wave of life. Take
Uh-huh.
things and enjoy it. Um, I personally live by the standard of the 14th century Catholic belief that St. Peter is at the gates of heaven and he asks you one question, just thou love the life that God hath given, and the answer should be yes, because if you say no, then, you're pissed about life. And it's a
Right.
metaphor. Anyways, so
Exactly.
the thing is I've studied a lot of via the gateway process and this stuff I've been looking at MK Ultra and all sorts of things. There is this outcome, and the outcome is the review of the process of the gateway systems developed by the Monroe Center. And in that process, it describes out of body experiences, and this is a government report filed with the DoD. It is very serious. It's signed off on. It was only released a couple years ago, and there's certain pages that were redacted that only got released this year. And the page that was important is the page about God, because what it suggests is that the people that they've trained to be full tilt out of body experience, I mean, for better word, time travelers, they started to be
Right.
remote viewers, and then
For
they
me, I was
involved.
supposed to take a remote viewers. Uh-huh.
Yeah, they started as remote viewers, and then it became basically that they could do more than that. They found this process, and the study shows. And once again, I'm not talking about like some theory. This is a government report. You can find it. I found it on the CIA library website. That's where I get my information. I only go to government pages that'll like tell you the report, and there it is. And actually, that's the other reason why I wanted to talk to you about Kim, because you guys are in the you're interested in the drama community, and you were talking about you hadn't seen BJ Investigates or Down the Rabbit Hole, I'm sure, so you might really enjoy that. A very positive and like true investigative community. Not that other stuff. Anyway, so this process suggests that we come from a white hole, we go to the black hole. And what does that mean is in the between there's an ellipsis of reality that is made by the projection, and at the end it just returns. The snake it finds its tail is the metaphor for that. And in this, it's like the idea becomes is that everything in between is this electronic process of sorts, all carrying the information along and feeding to the backside. And on that backside, what the people who had the out-of-body experiences in the remote viewing, who got to the highest level, which is order 15 of the gateway process, or level 15, is that they found themselves in a null void that all knowledge exists, and that's the description of the Akashic record, amongst many others. So
I
the
know what you're
idea is
talking about.
the idea is that we have the metaphoric, like the Christian Bible may be kind of true as well as the Abrahamic Bible, is that here we have free will. God has given us free will, right? But when we get to the other side, we're all knowledge. We're all just shared knowledge. So that baby coming back going, I didn't want to come back. I was comfy being part of the one. This is where we're separated, learning the things, feeding the meta. It explains why 93% of matter in the universe that we can see, we can't actually see it. We're only 4% of all matter. Like what we live in, believe it or not, we're only 4% of all the matter, and our matter is like spinning around something else. That's where the dark matter theory comes from. We don't know what that is, but it's
So
the
we were starting to
majority.
think like God matter.
That's the Higgs boson. The reason they call that the God particle is because
God particle. That's it. I'm sorry.
no, God particle is a kind of a different thing. It is a suggestion that it's the inkling that shows us, like how we found black holes.
Yeah.
Where there's things orbiting around it, but we can't see it. That's the Higgs boson. That's why they call it the God particle, because if that existed when we found it, it not only told us the relative weight of matter in our universal scale, being cesium-137 or C-137, which if anybody's watched Rick and Morty, that's the joke in that the root universe is C-137 and everything else is based around it. So that there is this wonderful thing in that report to the military about the gateway process that says that it is a really unifying thing. we're all together as one. We all share all the information. I find it very interesting that folks wouldn't believe that all energy is reciprocal because it can't be destroyed. You know, it's always getting recycled. And whatever you believe, the beauty of the concept is that, yes, of course, we carry this information with us and it's shared. We're all part of the same system. And that just like you experienced before, the full consciousness of life takes over, there's still memories. And it's funny because you're describing like maybe the past person popped up somehow in the consciousness for a moment, like the tape wasn't fully scrubbed before it came back, you know?
Right.
That's
Well,
fascinating
now
to me. That's
getting
why when I
into
hear this,
that, no, I'm sorry. I know that I have done some research on nothing to the extent that you have by any means, but you know certain things like reincarnation. I was curious about with her, my youngest one, and from the things that I have read over the years, their actual conscious mind of where they're at now, they seem to forget by the time they're 4 or 5. This is a theory. This is just a theory that by the
mm,
time they're 4 or 5, that they have forgotten being in heaven or who they were before this life, and that is how the human mind and the consciousness um, protects you from basically going crazy once you know you're in this life, for lack of a better way of putting it. Um,
I think that's a
because
good theory.
that the
I think,
longer we're here, the more we forget, so that we
yeah,
can acclimate to the life that we're living now.
true. And think about this: is if the gateway process is correct or the gateway study is correct, then it's necessary for us to add to the information because otherwise we would already know everything or be living through the prior information.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense because there, when you're getting back into the religious form of it, it's like almost metaphor. I can't talk today. Metaphorically, you were being given the ability to correct your wrongs.
Sure.
And
Or here's my take on it. Actually, Tara, I think we're giving better computational options to a much larger system, maybe a mirror of ourselves in a much larger system, you know? And maybe in actuality we are the mirror of that because that we are like an onion of reality, you know? There's a
hmm,
very distinct possibility that we're like an onion of reality where there's every different version of every choice we ever made happening right now all around us, you know, during the course of existence. And if that is a plausible thing at all, which quantum physics is telling us, yes, that is a thing, you know, that maybe in fact, that all of this stuff of what we remember, where we are, is actually to feed a better answer to the larger thing, just like a video game does.
hmm.
Okay.
Actually, that's pretty interesting because I will tell Kim something. She wanted to know something that happened to me in my life that is profound. Okay, and once again, this is just for whatever purpose of telling it, but I grew up in a very religious house. My step grandfather was a preacher. My daddy was a deacon. My uncles are deacons. You know, la la la. But I can remember at the age of 2 or 3 waking up and being very scared. And
Mm.
even at that age, wanting to pray, but not being able in my mind to think the words God or help me. And there was an internal voice that I heard, and I may be 4 or 5, but I'm thinking I was younger than that. I know I was really young. But I remember getting up and I went in my mom and dad's room and I was laying on the floor and I had my Bible. Let's see, I would be telling a lie because I had the Bible my sister gave me, so that would have made
Mm.
me 7. Okay, I would have been 7. Laying on the floor, hearing a battle rage inside my mind where one was saying, no, she's mine. This time she's mine. No, this time she's mine. And it was like I was
Well,
hearing,
Whoa.
I
yes, it was
could
like
tell you
hearing,
what that is if
I
you
could hear the
want to
demon
know.
and the angels. But
Well,
Kim,
there is, and I'm not religious. I don't like religion, but I believe in God and Jesus, and I believe in having a relationship with Jesus. But there are spirits, and there is a spirit of religion.
Mm.
And, you know, voices like that, I believe, are not of God. That so therefore they're probably a demon or a spirit of some sort that is not good.
The fight
And
in my head, Kim, was so
yeah,
loud, okay? And it
I
was
can
such an
imagine.
argument. But I can still, in my mind's eye, see the darkness, almost like being in the cosmos with the stars and like
Uh-huh.
electricity going off behind me. And I heard a large thundering roar, like a boom. And I
Wow.
called out God. And when I did, it was like I got up, I went back to my bedroom, and went back to bed. And
Wow.
from that day until, well, until I was grown and married the first time, I slept with that Bible in the bed with me. I couldn't sleep without a Bible. Um, Now, was some of that because I was raised in such a religious format? I'm sure it was. But the inner turmoil of hearing God and Satan arguing over who was going to have my soul, who was I going to follow this time, almost like being reincarnated, was something that to this day, it's like it happened yesterday. And I really don't ever speak of it because people are like, oh, you're crazy. But
Mm-hmm.
it happened. I know it happened. I was there. I heard it in
Right.
my mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an intense memory to have. Thank you for sharing that, Tara. That's an intense memory to have.
And that's one of the strongest memories of my young life that I remember. But it was like it went on forever. And it couldn't
Yeah.
have been more than, just a few minutes, Kim. But it felt like an eternity laying there on mom and daddy's bedroom floor, wrapped up in a blanket, scared to death to the point where I couldn't even breathe. I was so scared because I could hear him in my head. And I could not
Wow.
say God's name no matter how hard I tried. And
Mm.
no matter how hard I tried to scream for Jesus, it would
That to
not
me
come
is a
out.
really, really bad demonic energy. You know what I mean?
Hey, Kim, can
For
I
a
ask you
7 year
something?
old child,
Yeah, sure. Anything.
Oh,
yeah,
anything.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
by some. I'm sorry. No, but I was gonna. By the way, any age, anything. But I don't tend to use the term demon just because the originating Abrahamic term of demon is that's the legion under angels. And there's a big misunderstanding about how it breaks down, where the darkness or the evil or the that stuff breaks up, and it's almost as confusing as YouTube groups. You know,
Yeah.
where like, and I've got some even crazier stuff about that when if I was to bring up like the Abrahamic images of what angels and demons names are, it's crazy. It looks like
Right.
electronics, but anyways, I'm sorry. What I was gonna say there is I'd ask you, Kim, was you said you
Mm-hmm.
believe in God and you believe in Jesus, but you're not religious, and I find that kind of fascinating because
Well,
most people would say that
I don't practice. Okay. I don't, I believe just because you believe in God and Jesus, you doesn't mean you have to be like religious. You don't have to do a certain practice
yeah.
to where you're, you only worship on a certain day. You have to um confess your sins to a man to be forgiven. And you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's the happy
absolutely.
I
religion,
Beautiful.
don't believe
okay?
in those practices. I don't think
If
that's
you
what it's
start,
about. I believe it's about what the word of God, and that's it. And
Mm.
Kim,
believing that Jesus died to save us from our sin.
well, look at this, okay? And think of it in this aspect. To be a Catholic is the only religion that I personally can think of right offhand where you can sin 6.5 days a week and still go to heaven.
Yeah,
And
no,
also, as long
that
as Sunday
way.
morning you're in confession, you got to the
Yeah,
next Sunday morning to confess again if you make it that
Well,
far.
don't forget
But
that
not
started
only
about the
that,
10th century, though. That happened
right?
after the tithings, and then it became like the further the tithing started supporting the church and propping it up, and making it a power. Then suddenly, the more you could tithe, the more you could be forgiven. And originally, the
Yeah.
only people that could be
Yeah,
forgiven,
that way.
you know, were paying for it. So it's like I've always been twisted on this. Like how, you know.
But
So
you know,
wait,
you got to
hold
think
on
about
a
this
second.
too. Let's take the Bible as a whole, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm walking on
Mhm.
dangerous territory here. But let's actually, and me and my best friend of 47 years, we are, she is your Bible toting, it's to the word of the Bible and there's no other word. Very religious. But this is
Yeah.
my question to her, okay? This is my question to anyone. The Bible was wrote by men for men.
Yep.
And with
Yeah,
that being said, wait a minute, with that being
but it
said,
wasn't. It
wait a minute,
wasn't
Kim,
really.
wait
Well,
a minute,
I hold
wait a
on.
minute.
Okay.
Y'all
Yeah.
got to remember
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
thing to hold on. To be able to say that,
Yeah.
you've got to say that because the Catholic Church decided which canons were allowed into the Bible and which ones became part of the Dead Sea Scrolls and were hidden from us.
Constantine and the Council of Nicaea is a big issue of political maneuvering over what was originally Rome, what we call Rome, or the Papal State, and that's actually in not even in Constantinople. It's out in Turkey, anyways.
Yeah.
And that's something people don't even understand that Rome. So one of the things that always amazed me, and until you stand in Rome, you don't realize, oh my God, the power of the church has existed in this space as a country for 2,000 years, right? And it really sets home that it wasn't just a book, it was a political maneuver to assert agreement between all the pagans, the Jews, the Coptics, the all the Gnostics, all the people that were fighting and tearing Rome apart and warring. And it was
Mm-hmm.
a brilliant maneuver because it did fuse all of the ideas of the time period into one thing. Now, mind you, what is written of the record is that those people who were brought in were forced to actually write it. But something that everybody forgets about the modern King James, which is, I think, in my studies of it, it is an eloquent abridging as well as a political maneuver, but an eloquent abridging of what was almost impossible to understand for the layperson before him. And this comes from his work on a book that I urge anyone who likes their King James Bible. You probably also want to go read the King James Demonology.
Yes.
And nobody knows about that he wrote an entire
Yep.
massive novel before he had the King James Bible written, and it's about witch hunting and demons and angels and the ether and all kinds of wildness that he spent the majority of his life learning. And people take this book as such a piece of, like, as if it was just handed down, when it's the ideas, the concepts, the love of one another, the peace, the bridging a gap, the seeing each other as one, all these beautiful backgrounds that all the religions really have in them, that are meaningful, and I just find the fight between all the beliefs just kind of be silly because we're all human. We're all who's in Whoville, a little piece of dust,
Well,
Yeah.
the actual concept of the King James version is supposedly, if you ask the die-hard Christians
Mm.
who do not believe in the Old Testament, that they believe solely in the New Testament, all that is based on before and after the Holy Spirit was
Yeah.
bestowed upon the earth. So,
Yeah. Reasoning for the abridging and actually that is a thing in his. If you look at the comparative of the Coptic, which caused the schism, the schism between pre-James, but it was when we have basically the earlier forms of Protestantism from like Gnosticism and the Coptic Christianism that split the Roman Church at a period in time in about the 4th or 5th century, and that's where we get modern day like Protestantism and Lutheranism, and the modern Catholic Church, which is still Christian, so as well as the Coptics or Orthodox, and so there's like that split, the Orthodoxy and the Catholic Church is where, like, a lot of people don't understand that there's been a lot of different frames of knowing Christianity or believing Christianity, practicing Christianity. I love the way you're saying this, by the way, earlier, Kim, is that you practice because you have faith, and I believe that is so important to loving life.
Yes, it is.
you're not
If we
living
don't
by a
have,
codex.
we do not have anything.
But you're not living by a codex, Kim. You're living by a belief of a higher power, of something that is beautiful and forgiving and loving.
Mm.
Whereas you have, I mean, if you take the Bible, and like I said, I know that probably offends a lot of people to hear somebody say that it was wrote by men for men. But honestly, it was that's how the Bible was created. And you do like you said,
Well, men wrote it.
before and after.
Yeah, men
But
did write it. I mean, that would be stupid not to say that. But I do
you would
not
not
believe
believe the people who don't believe
what
that, Kim.
mind of the man that wrote it. I believe it was the Spirit of God who wrote it.
Was there
So
there
that's my opinion. You
no,
don't
I
have
was
to
gonna say
agree
there
with
has to be, I understand what you're saying too, and there is, I agree with that more towards the Old Testament than I do so much towards the New Testament. And the reason for that being is those books that were removed from the Bible and hidden were hidden by the Catholic Church. And he's right, it was all political.
yeah.
If your family had enough money, you could become Pope. Didn't matter if you believed in God or not, you just had to come from the right family.
Ain't
You
that a
know,
thing?
you know, you had to be a Medici, or if you were a
Yeah.
Medici, you got to be Pope. You got to marry a king or a queen.
Mm.
So it's a lot of twisting there. But what you're
Yeah.
saying, as far as a spirit writing through men, I agree with
Mm-hmm.
that. But I
Mm.
also disagree
Yeah.
with it because if you go back and you read the books of Enoch
Opinion.
and some of these canons that were hidden that
Yeah.
profess the real
I've,
evil
I've
of
I've read
humanity,
the Book of Enoch. It was a long time
okay.
ago, but I
But
have read the Book of Enoch.
Fascinating
look at
stuff, by the way.
how
The Abrahamic books, by the way. And by the way, if anybody wants to go see that stuff firsthand and all of the surrounding texts and everything, it's a great place called sacred-texts.com. Sorry, I had to throw an advertisement in
okay, yeah, that's fine.
there.
But yeah, you're when you start putting politics, even 11th century politics or whatever century you want to go to into it, it becomes very cloudy as to what's the truth and what's not the truth anymore.
Oh, Tara, tell
Right.
him. Oh my God,
Definitely.
for real.
Definitely.
You know, and I do, and that's what me and Bib have a lot of arguments about. Is she's like, no, because the Bible says this, and this, but that's how you're
Hmm.
perceiving it, and that's
But
how
you
your
also
preacher
gotta
perceives it.
look at the sense of what was going on during that time as
Exactly.
well.
Yes, yes. There's a book, by the way, recently discovered. I have on one of my. I don't think it's an esoteric. I think it's one of my history channels. Um, this historian pulls up like rare books and shows you them, and will read you some of them to give you an idea of like the mindset of a time period. And there's only 10 copies of this ever found, or whatever. But this one book they have is it's the only copy. It is they have basically decided that it is a political book of pictures that couldn't have any writing because people couldn't read. So it is like
Okay.
one of the first examples of political cartoons making fun of the Pope, making fun of the king, like all kinds of things and characters that basically, you wouldn't understand unless you knew the like colloquial political angle. Us looking at it, it just they look like goblins and ghouls and things like that. But once it was actually analyzed, it's like, oh no, these are all like coded humor that somebody at the time period who didn't know any language whatsoever, but just knew the situation or didn't know how to read or write, could totally look at this and laugh with a group of people at the corner, you know. And
Right.
and it was subversive too. It's like that's the other thing that the guy was saying is like one of the earliest versions of subversive cartooning. Um, and it's fascinating because that is something we don't take into consider. I hear a lot of people nowadays, especially even not taking in consideration things that happened in the 80s. Like I hear people talking about history recently, like especially on the tubes of you or these streamer kids, where it's like, streamer kids, people in their 30s, saying things like, it was 1950s and then there was 1980s. It's like, no, hold on a second. don't miss don't miss ERA. That's your mom, bruh. That's like
Yeah. Exactly. But
eh,
I tell you a book that does fascinate me, and
mm,
Lord forgive me, maybe it shouldn't, but the Devil's Bible,
Oh
the
yeah.
the original one that was wrote by Monk, supposedly in one night. The
Yes.
pictures in the tree in that Bible
You
are
mean the guy?
well,
You mean the guy they booked him up into bricks afterwards?
yes,
Yeah.
that totally fascinates me as to what the true story behind that is.
Well,
Because he didn't do that in
sorry.
one night.
No, of course not. And actually, that same channel who had that book on it also has all of these different kinds of pieces of literature on it, where they look at it and he takes it apart and tells you what we actually know. So this is a very interesting manual next to the Voynich manuscript, which I don't know if you know this, but they've recently gone back to saying, like, experts have gone back to saying that the Voynich manuscript is a real thing and that it may just be some code that we will almost never completely figure out. Um, uh,
Okay.
which is very interesting because they found, anyways, I don't want to get into that one, but in the book of the Devil's Bible, they are starting to believe that that was actually written by many monks, and that it was like one of these secret pieces of subversion of, like, when a monk was doing something wrong, they would make him purge it and put it in this book, which is why it was then locked
Ah,
away.
see,
That's
I've
a
Huh.
not heard that.
theory. That's a
I've not heard
theory
that
right
theory,
now.
but it's good.
It's a decent
That,
one, right? But it is
yeah.
also that the book itself is not the original version. That whatever original version may have been, you know, put together because the writing is too similar throughout the
Yes.
entirety of the book. So that makes sense because it could just be a scribe, and then over the course of 6 months to a year, he would have scribed the entire book, and then they bricked him away after they were like, "Yep, you're the most evil guy in the camp," and sorry, buddy, like
That's
it's.
good.
Okay, so let's get off religion if that's okay with you
Oh yeah.
guys.
Oh, I'm here for the ride. What you want to talk about, baby?
Yeah, I'm good. I got to actually
Well,
jump in a minute, but I wanted to hop in because that
oh,
discussion we were having before was so fascinating.
oh, I appreciate that. It was good to hear from you, and I'm really sorry about what's going on.
Don't you worry.
What
Don't you even worry,
it's.
Kim.
I've
Here's
been
the
there,
thing.
Aaron.
Yep,
I've been there, Aaron. So I understand
I
what
appreciate
you're
you.
up against,
Yeah. Well,
and
I'm not a.
just
They're up
keep
against
being
themselves.
yourself and keep
Thank you,
doing
Kim.
you,
Yeah, they're up
and
against
you will.
themselves. So
Yeah, oh yeah, oh, definitely,
so
definitely.
that's the other thing is I'm here for art, creativity, panels like this, conversations like this, if I'm going to be here. So I appreciate you, and no, I feel good. I had a great night last night. I think
Awesome.
that people take my business sense direction as probably wrong. But I'm not going to just not say anymore and just say that one of the things that I love is that people don't understand a lot of things about me, and that more
Uh-huh.
importantly, that folks will always be themselves. You can't change
Right.
them, you know, and
Nope.
people can think whatever they want, but it doesn't change reality as it is. So I appreciate
Exactly.
y'all.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all.
Exactly.
And love the panel. Tara, very nice to meet you, and I appreciate you sharing those stories. That's the thing about the shadow person. It's giving me shivers thinking about it. That is amazing. It's like, thank you for verifying things without knowing it. But anyways, ladies, have a great day.
You too, and
You
thank you
too.
for coming up. It's nice to
My
meet you.
pleasure. Nice to meet y'all. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. I don't
He's
know
nice.
how. He is a nice guy. And I'm sorry that he's going through all the riffraff from
Oh, are they
Easy.
picking on him too?
Yep, they are. But
Lord have
I
mercy.
didn't mean for my life to go down that route. But hey,
Oh, I think it's
that's
okay, Kim. I
it,
mean, it's
it's
New
it's
Year's Eve and people are just talking about life. And I think it's,
right. I mean,
no one
that's the
seems
thing when
offended.
the,
So,
you get a conversation going, you never know where it's gonna end or where it's gonna go.
well, I'm really impressed with the
And
fact that the chat is interacting with us as we talked about religion. And then it was in a positive, you know, nobody acting crazy manner. Because I'm sitting
right,
here reading the comments and a lot, Subhuman 3. Kim doesn't want to have a big language on her show. That's true. Um, you're funny, you're smart, you're beautiful. So see, people are interacting, and that's what's important. And they're doing it in a positive way. They're not sitting here telling lies on each other or trying to
Right.
drag
And
each other down.
I could be grown up enough to, even if I don't agree with what you're saying, I am not going to be mean or mad or
Exactly.
aggressive because you're not, lining up with who I am. It's the wonderful thing about people is we're all different. We all think differently, and sometimes it doesn't line up with how you think, and that's okay. That's okay. And but hearing people's perspective on certain subjects, it gives you a better understanding of, other people.
Religion is a subject that a lot of creators and a lot of people will tap dance around. They don't want to talk about it for fear that their subs will be upset. It will not be well received.
Right.
But here's the thing, whether we are discussing religion or what I cooked for dinner last night,
Mm-hmm.
we're not, I don't want to put this exactly, we're not being negative. Everything's
No.
being discussed in a positive way. And the one thing that I found with Aaron that I liked was that his knowledge of philosophical um, viewpoints on religion. You know,
Yeah.
people, okay, Kim, here's a good one, okay?
Okay.
Um, something bad that happened to me. I will tell you, I had a stroke.
Uh-huh.
Um, I was in the
Remember you?
hospital for 26 days. Remember that? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a lot of damage done, and I need some reconstructive surgery done from having the stroke on the ventilator.
Oh.
Okay. And there are
Yeah.
times when my voice goes out.
Uh-huh.
There are times I can't pronounce words all the way because my
Right.
mouth won't form that. Um, Now we have a creator who got online and started running around behind my back.
Uh-huh.
Someone that I've only spoke to once or twice said, "Oh, put your teeth in so we can understand you."
Oh.
Okay. Now here's my point. You
Yeah.
don't know me. You don't know what happened to me. You have no
Right.
idea that I died and got brought back. You don't know the hell I went through for 26 days. And then for the remainder of this year in rehab and learning how to speak again and do the things that, make me be able to take care of myself and not be dependent on anyone. So that's what I'm
Right.
saying. You have people who just want to attack for no reason other than their own self loathing. And it's
Right.
sad. So when you bring up a subject of religion or dinner or what color my hair is, as long as you're doing something proactive,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a problem with it. I really don't. And when I stand and tell you I didn't want people to know, there's some people that know. Paul Liberator knows. Ray
Yeah.
knows. There's a few people that know I had a stroke. And what I went through and what I've been struggling through to be able to
Mm.
speak again and get ready to have surgery to repair the damage that was done. But you know what? See, Kim, that's none of their business. That's not
No,
something they
it's not.
should have never been mentioned. So here's
Right.
what I'm thinking. You self loathe yourself so much that you have to attack other people. And not only
Mm-hmm.
do you attack other people, but you do it behind their backs.
Yeah.
I don't need to look in the mirror, sweetheart. You do.
Yes, they
Because
do.
you got a serious issue and you need help.
And people that act that way and treat people that way, you just need to not care what they think because
Oh, I
you
don't.
know it is about them and it's not about you.
Well, I know a
And
lot of people tell you I always say they're irrelevant.
it took me forever to learn that because I wear my heart on my sleeve,
Yes, you
and when
do.
people would attack me for no reason, I would
I know.
take it to heart and it would kill me.
I know.
You
I've
know?
seen you upset many times for no reason.
Yeah.
I remember.
Well, not for no reason.
But I
I
know,
was
but you know
upset
what I mean. Them
because
bullying
of
you.
that. Yeah. And I've had bullies my whole life, but I've never changed because of it. But when someone attacks for no reason, I'm just beside myself because it's like, why?
I know, and I
Why?
still see you apologizing a lot.
I
Um,
know.
and I'm like, and it does. It hurts me, Kim. It hurts my heart because you've not
Well,
done anything to apologize for.
that's
And it's
just a habit from my past
yes, I
of
know
not
that. And that's
feeling
that's
like
a
I've
sign of
done some.
abuse.
Yeah,
I know, I know.
and I'm working on it.
But it does. It hurts my heart because you haven't done anything wrong. You have no reason to be apologizing to these people. I understand why you do it. Like I said, I
Mhm.
lived in an abusive relationship. I know what you're saying, but it does. It hurts my heart
Yeah.
because as outspoken and alpha female as I am, I've been through some rough shit, Kim, and
Right.
it does. It makes me tenderhearted towards people who are being abused or talked down to for no reason, who are being picked out of the crowd and singled out and bullied for no other reason but the person bullying has low self-esteem and they need that ego boost for themselves.
Mhm.
And it took me a long time to realize just how truly pitiful. There's no other word for it. These people are pitiful, Kim, and you're not pitiful. That's the difference. You're
Yeah.
not pitiful.
What it grow subhuman? It says that I told Kim that you got attacked today on your live stream. I got attacked.
No, Brad did. I think she's saying Brad did.
Oh, Brad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think she's trying to say Brad
I'm
did.
sorry, Brad. That it happens, but I'm sorry. People are so mean.
They really are. And it's just, and this is something else too that amazes me, Kim. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I'll just tell you, I don't really care. Um, okay,
Uh-huh.
cool. What was it? Cool Bro X Factor 444, whatever she wants to go by this week.
That guy,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, that guy exactly. Um, and no, I'm not trans bashing, but
No.
they
You
she he she
just because
behind
you
my
have
back.
surgery doesn't make you a different gender.
Well, no, but
You're
see, here's the
man.
thing. In an open panel, I didn't attack her. I didn't.
Uh-huh.
I didn't agree with her, but I didn't attack her. But this is my
Right.
point. She went behind my back and told people I needed to put my teeth in if I wanted to argue with her. First of all, I had my teeth,
She's
sweetheart. I had a stroke. So you should be ashamed of yourself. Secondly,
right.
you didn't even have the nerve to say it to my face because you said it thinking I would never hear about it, that it would never get back to me. And that's what people in here don't realize. You are attacking other people and you're saying nasty things with the pretense that you think nobody's going to tell them. Honey, they're running to tell it as hard as they can get there. They're tripping over their own shoestrings trying to get to tell it.
Yeah. Oh
Okay, now
yeah.
did I attack you about your transgender surgery or the problems you were having with it? No, sure didn't. I mean, I was not ugly to you.
I would never attack someone, regardless if I agreed
Exactly.
with it or not.
Exactly, Kim.
I
But
have no right
because,
to judge.
see, my point is, what was the point of doing that? You don't know me
Uh,
personally. You've never seen me. Um, and
they're in that clique. They're wanting to, oh, look at me, what I did to that person because they
yes,
get off on it. You
but
know.
it's what they don't realize is that type of cruelty. Whether you believe in heaven or hell, or you believe in
Mm.
God or Satan, that type of cruelty of attacking other people like that and doing those kind of things to other people, it's karma. It's going to come back and get you. It is.
Oh, definitely. Whatever you put out is what you'll get.
You know, Daddy used to
It
tell me all the time that it may be 20 years before you get busted, but you're gonna get busted. And hey, you know, I've seen that many times. Somebody may be a great crook for 20 years and
uh-huh.
never realized that for 19 of them, the FBI's been watching them waiting. You know, so
Yeah,
people are. It's like you said, what you put out, you get back.
that's right.
Now, can I be nasty and mean and say ugly things about you? I could.
Y'all can.
And I can say some really cruel things about you because I have a high IQ, so I understand more than you think I do. Um, but I have to go to bed at night. See, the only person you can't run from is yourself.
Yeah.
No matter where you go, no matter what you do, you're always going to be
And
with you.
yeah, you can only run for so long. It's gonna catch up. You
So, I
can't
mean,
you
you
can't
know,
get away from your own self. Yeah.
who did Brad have to ban?
Some girl, I guess, came in his chat and was just trolling him.
See, that's kind of, they don't know him. They have, you know, oh, it's funny to be a troll. No, no, it's not. It's not funny at all. Um, you know, we have a troll who likes to justify her past behavior by being outlandish and crazy and silly and all these other adjectives that she throws in for her poor behavior. But the bottom line is sit down, look at your life, look at the events that have led up to where you're sitting right now, and ask yourself, have I had a blessed life? Or is karma every time I turn around tapping me on the shoulder, reminding me that they're watching me? Because the rest of us already know because we've seen it. And the
Mm-hmm.
things in your life, Kim, that are bad, perfect example, my ex-husband. He cheated. Okay,
Yeah.
he's wrecked 3 or 4 cars since then. He's been in trouble with the IRS since then. He lost, his family. It's going
Uh-huh.
to cost him everything that he's worked for. I'm gonna get half of, and maybe even more. So does he not realize that that's karma? That's God trying to tell him, look what you've done. Because marriage is the only, I don't want to say law because that's not a good word for it, but marriage is the only event that God created, as in the
Mm-hmm.
form of totally when He created Adam and Eve, when He created Eve for Adam, and His laws for marriage, and what He expected out of us. It was His union that He created that was supposed to be beautiful and have also, um, and people don't realize that when you violate that, you've broken God's heart. You're not just broken the heart of your spouse, but you've broken God's heart because that's something He created especially for you and another person.
Right.
It was supposed to be loving and protecting and to give you what you needed to be a good person through life. So when you violate that, you've made God cry, And if I can find the passage again, I'll send it to you. I read the other day; it was really good. But that's basically what it was saying. It was explaining, this is the one thing, actually, thing that God created completely. There was
Yeah.
no nothing else. This was just completely of God's hand. Which Christians will say, well, everything was of God's hand, but they're going deeper than that. But
Mm-hmm.
Kim, people don't realize the bad karma. They don't see the bad things that are happening to them.
No, no. Not until it's over with and they're like, wow, I caused this. It was because of what I've done. And it's happened to me. It's like and during the time I'm like, why is this happening? Why is this happening? And then at the
Uh huh.
end you're like, oh,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah,
Me too,
that was my
Kim.
fault.
Me too. I've had the same thing. I'm thinking, what in the world? And then it hit me. Do you remember doing this? Well,
Yep.
this is why that happened.
Yeah. And we're not perfect. We're gonna mess up,
Oh,
you know.
absolutely, absolutely.
I see. I don't like. I started out with this, wanting to know, about what you thought 2023, what you went through, how it was for you and whatnot. And I don't believe in making resolutions because
I don't
why
either,
put
Kim.
limitations on yourself? Why not just try to be better than you were the day before and work on the areas that you need to work on?
I seen a meme the other day said I don't do resolutions, and the ones I do are just loose promises to myself that I know I'm going to break anyway. It was kind of like in a
Exactly.
joking form, and it was kind of cute the way it was worded better than that. But that's basically what it meant. It was cute. I thought, you know what? That's true. That is the gospel, there, buddy. It ain't nothing but
Mhm.
a promise that I know after midnight is gone.
Yep. Yeah, don't you think I like to lose 10 pounds, but am I gonna, start running around the block and then, within 3 days saying, screw that?
Exactly.
No, I'm gonna work on eating healthier and,
Oh
taking
yeah,
care of
exactly.
myself.
Yeah,
You
like
know?
in my 50s, like I said, at 50 years old, if I ain't got it now, I probably ain't gonna get it. And just like my
Yeah,
son, he's like, Mom, if you don't quit smoking. I said, I know. But son,
I know.
if I do, I do. And if I don't, I don't.
Yeah,
But I'm an adult and I'm well aware of what the doctors have told me about my lungs if I don't quit smoking and what's going on. So,
yeah,
but why am I going to lie to myself? That's what he told me. He said, Mom, don't tell me you're going to quit smoking. He said, tell me after you quit. Then tell me. He said, because you and I both know you
right.
ain't quit. I was like, you got to be careful. And Brad, you
Yeah.
are exactly right. And that is exactly, if you read what Brad said about the sacred covenant between a man and a woman, that's exactly, you said it so much better than I did. But that was what I meant by he created it. That was his one thing. And Brad nailed it. That's exactly
I
right.
mean, why else would God create woman? It was for the man, for a marriage, to be together, to produce, you
In his
know?
grace. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What did Brad said? Messing up is where grace comes into play. I'm not so sure I believe
Oh,
in that completely. To me,
what?
when
Huh?
you cheat on your partner,
What about
Adam
it?
and Eve, not Adam and Steve. Oh, when I see what she's saying. When you cheat on your partner, Kim,
Uh-huh.
or when to me, that is a bond that you have broken that cannot be repaired. For me personally,
Okay.
because I stayed with Steve for about 4 months after I knew, and
Oh.
he come in here one night and was screaming, "I love you," and blah, 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 and grabbed my phone and threw it across the wall when I tried to call the police, and just, having
Uh-huh.
a total meltdown. And I finally picked up a glass of tea and threw it in his face. I said, "You need to cool off." Um, because here, if you tell somebody something, from the first date we ever had, I never lied about it. If you want to leave,
Mhm.
you want to date somebody else, that's fine. If we're married, you want to leave, that's fine. Don't lie to
Mhm.
me. Don't endanger my health and my life. I have children. So don't be cheating on me and bringing something home that I can't get rid of. I mean, I was always very honest about my feelings on people who cheat, um, and the detrimental effect that it has on not just you, but your family, your children. Um,
Yes.
so for me, it was a lot of praying and a lot of soul searching and a lot of looking at him and thinking and just looking at him. And I just told him, I said, when you cheat, you lie. So you have broke all trust. There's no trust between us anymore. I
Yeah.
can't trust anything that you say from here forward. Doesn't matter what it is. So every word that comes out of your mouth when I'm looking at you is nothing more than a lie, whether it's the truth or not, because I don't know. And that's what I taught
Yeah.
my children. If you lie, I can never support you because I don't know what the truth is. But if I
Right.
can say, you told me the truth, and I know you told me the truth because even when you knew you were going to get in mad trouble, you were still honest.
Mhm.
You can't buy that, son. And I used to tell my oldest one that all the time. Can't buy that. That's
Yeah.
wrong. So
Trust is earned.
yeah, and I don't think guys and women too, but because of our biological differences and because for men, sex is more about the reproductive. If you want to start getting into nature versus nurture again, um, to reproduce and the lion's killing the cubs off and yada yada. But once you do that, I can't trust you. If I can't trust you, I can't live with you.
Right.
So now, everything that you've done for 28 years that I've looked at and thought, huh, and then I thought, no, you wouldn't do that. Now I'm questioning, did you do it? Because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know.
Well, then again, that people do some of the worst things, some of the things you would never think of that will scar you for life, but you have to forgive them. Not for them, but for yourself. And
I
you
forgave him, Kim.
also have to forgive yourself.
Yeah, I'll never forget Mama T going, I can't believe you didn't see. I said, Tina, I did see it. I didn't want to see it. I knew it, but I was going through life at 100 miles an hour with a high powered job and 4 children, and
You're too
anything that
busy to
didn't,
see.
yeah, anything that didn't click into that, I didn't have time
Hmm.
for. So I just made a
Right.
quick justification for it and kept right on rolling. So I can't say I didn't see it. I can say I didn't want to see it. There's a difference.
And hopefully he will be sorry for what he did
He's not.
and ask for forgiveness for it.
That's what I told
Hopefully.
him. I said, I don't wish you harm. I
Hmm.
don't wish you hate. I don't even wish karma on you. But what I do wish is that you have the ability to self recognize what you have done to another human being and truly understand and accept the damage that you've caused and the hurt and pain that you've bestowed on others. Because once you do that, now that's pain. Now you'll understand. I forgave
Right.
you for a long time ago because now you have become an irrelevant factor in my life. I'm just
No.
going through the motions with you right now as to what my high powered attorneys are going to give me.
Hmm.
You
Yep.
know,
Yeah. Oh, mercy.
I know, baby. But I mean, and it's not sad. That's the thing, though. People go, oh my God, I'm so sorry it's happened to you. Don't be. Because it's what you just said, Kim. All the bad stuff that happened to you this year with the mean girls and the stuff that people did to you, you learned a really valuable lesson. Um,
Oh, yeah.
and you become stronger and you become a better person, in my opinion.
Yep.
Um, and
We
see, I
have
kind
to
of
go
look
through
at,
tough
yeah,
things
I
in
kind of
life.
look at my divorce like that. I've grown from it.
Good. Good. I'm
I've
happy.
grown from it.
You
So
did
maybe that's
that.
a good thing to happen to me this year, Kim, is that, I grew from it and I have the ability to not hate him. I feel pity for him, feel sorry for him. Couldn't imagine
Yeah.
being that old and have to start my life over again. Even though I am
Oh,
starting over again, I'm still considerably, I'm what, 12 years younger than he is? That's a big difference.
yeah.
That is a
And
big difference.
people do
So
find people late in life. It happens,
it does.
If
It
it
does.
if it's meant to happen, it will.
And if it's
But
not, it won't.
you have wonderful kids, you have wonderful grandkids, you
Oh,
have
yeah.
people who love you. You're not alone.
No. Mm-mm.
So
You
that
know.
in itself is a big blessing.
Well, I've had the same best friend. For 47 years. Um,
Uh-huh.
Everything in my life pretty much is, it's just moving right on along. So no, they
Yeah.
don't. I refuse to allow myself the pain that I went through. Don't get me wrong, Kim, it hurt. Okay, I had a nervous breakdown
Oh
in the beginning.
yeah, I'm sure it
Okay, it
did.
was bad in the beginning. Um, but you go through the grieving stage just like you do with death, you know. And anger is such a positive process of grieving because it builds up a strength in you that you didn't know you had till you were mad about it.
Right.
I mean, that may sound horrible, but it's true. So yeah, I'm okay. And like I said, I
That's
am
good.
blessed because my grandkids,
Mhm.
Aspen is everything that happens with my granddaughter. I'm the one she comes and tells her whole life story to. The oldest one is the one who's telling me about the Lamborghini or the Bugatti I have to buy him when he turns 16. Watching.
Dream on.
Oh yeah, he don't understand. Nana's got Bugatti money. No, baby, Nana don't have Kardashian money. You're not getting a Bugatti. You might get a Camaro, okay, and it's going to be used.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're just so cute watching them and how they see the world right now, and how they take
Yeah.
everything in. Yeah, they are. They're the most awesome thing that's ever been. And like I
Mhm.
told my youngest one, the hell she put me through raising her because she was tough. It was worth every bit of it. Worth every bit of it.
Mad Hatter, I don't know. Do you have some? I mean, if you got something else you got to do, I understand. I'll probably be really, if anybody else doesn't want to come up on, I've been on here for over 2.5 hours.
We've been on here that long.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we've been on it that long, Kim. Oh my
But
gosh.
hey, I mean that we've had some really good discussion, and
We
I
have.
love that. I absolutely love to hear from people because, like I've said many times before, this is my channel and it's like my way of spending time with the people I love, and I consider
Mhm.
everybody who is subscribed to me and who comes in here who has respect and is nice, I consider them as friends, so I
And so
enjoy
that's
it.
awesome.
I enjoy the time that we have. I love it when people participate. If it's a game, if it's the poetry, if it's a discussion, I really enjoy people's time, coming up on panel and talking with me. And I love to have more feedback from people so I know what they want to see or what they would want to do. Because, hey, this is not just my channel, it's your channel as well. Because without you guys, I mean, I know everybody says that, but it's true. If it wasn't for the people wouldn't have channels. I mean, it's common sense.
Brad, I'm sorry, sweetheart. If you'd been my grandson, I'd have bought you a car.
Hey, Brad.
I'm sorry. He said, damn, anybody bought me a car. I'm sorry. Like I said. But everybody knows my grandchildren, they have replaced my kids. My kids will tell you that too.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be. Grandparents are meant to spoil the kids.
Yep.
Oh, honey, let me tell you, my two, they know they got kicked back once the first back grandbaby was born.
Hey, Brad, would you be open to answering questions?
Bring them on.
Okay, cool.
Oh, Brad wants to go
So,
on the panel? Cool, all right.
yeah. Okay, Brad, what about this year was good or a blessing for you?
Well, it started off good. I had a significant other, then it went to hell when she split. Then it got better when I got a fur baby. Then it
Fur
went to
babies are awesome.
then it went to hell again when my friend who gave me the fur baby wanted her back.
Oh, you lost your fur baby.
Eh,
I'm
I knew
sorry.
I knew that was a distinct possibility, so I dealt with it.
Oh,
No. Well,
I
you maybe
wasn't.
you get a fur baby of your own.
Eh,
Because look at how much happiness it brought you.
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna be. I gotta finish a couple of things up in New York, and then I'm out of here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this state has gotten too crazy for me, and that's saying something because I'm not even a fruitcake.
Yeah, I
My
wouldn't want to
New
issues,
live.
York.
my issues have issues.
Hey,
Okay, so would losing your significant other be the bad or the hard thing that you've went through this year, or is there something else?
Well, let me see. I lost her. Had a someone I considered an adopted child commit suicide over a dude.
oh
Oh
God,
my.
I'm so sorry.
Uh, had friends of mine raped, and I've been helping them deal with that. I've had people I know's kids molested, and I've been working with that, and the cops aren't doing nothing, which is part
Yeah.
of the reason why when I tie up the loose ends I got in New York, I'm gone, because if I stay in New York, I'm going to kill someone. I
Oh,
know
okay.
it. I know it. I know it. I know it because I can't stand pedophiles.
Right.
Amen.
And
You got that right.
there's a guy in the same town that I live in that has molested at least 25 kids this year that I know of, and the cops haven't done a damn thing.
Why?
Don't know.
Huh.
He's called me and bragged about it. I've taken
Wow.
the call to the cops, showed them, hey, listen, the guy just left me a voicemail. Listen,
Hmm.
and nothing. I mean, he went into vivid detail and nothing.
Wow. I'm sorry. Oh,
So, well, I ran into him over the summer, and I did what I call an SOS, which
okay.
stands for Smash on Sight. I beat the hell out of him.
Well, can't say he didn't deserve it, but
And thankfully, the cops came to me. They realized immediately when they seen his injuries that I was the one who did it. And the only thing they said is, you almost killed him. Next time, maybe hit him a couple of more times.
oh, really? Wow.
Yeah,
Okay,
but they were
so
cops I knew, so.
oh, okay. So, what do you think taught you a good lesson this year?
I don't know if it's a lesson I was taught, but it brought up some stuff from when I was younger and I went through getting sex trafficked and raped. Helping a friend of mine deal with getting raped has been helpful
Okay.
because it's been helping me to deal with stuff that I just pushed down and forgot about it.
Okay. So that
So it
was
gives
more
you
of
the
a
ability
like
to deal
a
with your own trauma.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So what's something that you have discovered for the first time this year? And I don't know if that's possible for you, Brad, because
Well,
you know just about a little bit about everything.
I found out that I truly have mellowed with age
Right.
because I've had some people do some things that were not too nice in front of me. And instead of doing what I used to do when I was in my 20s or even in my 30s, which was beat the holy hell out of them, I just publicly slapped them around a little bit to teach them a lesson and show them how the other person felt.
Mm,
And I don't
okay.
mean like I punched them. No, I open handed pimp slapped them around a little bit in the grocery store.
Wow.
So it was pretty humiliating for
Okay. Um, what are some things you are going to work on for 24? or you want to work on?
Probably work on not being as impulsive.
That would be a good thing.
Because when I see a woman get slapped or something, I generally don't think, I just react.
Right.
And that's not necessarily always a good thing because, well, I've had a 38 pulled on me and I've been severely burned over my chest, on my neck, and on my wrist by a woman
Ooh.
using a Zippo lighter and a can of bug spray.
Wow.
Instant flamethrower.
Yep. I once I slapped it out of her hand and knocked her down. I helped the guy up who I had knocked out. I
Hmm.
apologized to him, looked at him and said, "Proceed," and walked away.
Wow. Okay, so last question. Do you have anything to get off your chest and let it go? And when I mean let it go, never pick it back up again.
The one thing that I would have on my chest is the way the egg split, the way she
Okay.
just up and left. But that's something that if she ever wants to talk to me, me and her will discuss it.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I'm going to leave that between me, her, and God and move on.
Which is
good.
the best thing to do.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it really is.
Yeah.
That's, well, those were my questions. I wanted to know people's answers on, but
So
I'm
what are you
really
going
good. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was just going to ask you, what are you going to be doing for New Year's?
Nothing. Not a thing.
Yeah, I'll probably just play a video game.
Day. It will just be another day. I don't do nothing special. My kids will be, one will be working, and I don't know if my son will have to work tomorrow or not. Probably not, but I'm sure he'll be doing something. So it'll just be me more than likely for most of the day by
Well, I mean,
myself.
I was talking about the New Year's Eve, New Year's, how everybody on New Year's Eve stays up, watches the ball drop.
Oh, okay. Well, my kids will be home. We'll watch, bring in the new year. My tradition, that I grew up with was you always had to have money and food bringing in the new year.
Yep.
So that's something that
Food.
we'll do.
Yep.
What was it? What, Tara? I didn't hear you.
I was sitting here eating. I started laughing. I said, "Yep, food."
Yep.
Food's
So
always good to have.
I heard one of my favorite bands is going to be playing on that on NBC or whatever channel that does the ball drop tonight. So I'll be looking forward to that.
One of your favorite bands,
Not
GNR.
21 Pilots. It's not 21 Pilots either.
GNR,
You know.
Guns N' Roses.
Oh, no, no, no. Nope, it's Green Day.
Oh,
Green
Green
Day
Day's
is
gonna play.
still together. I heard they split.
Nope, they're still together. They just put out a new album, so it's probably their way of promoting.
Wow. Yeah, I like some Green Day stuff. Not a big fan, but I like some of it.
Yeah, I've been listening to them since, I don't know, what was it, 15, 16, when they first came out.
I've been listening to Green Day off and on since 1990.
1990.
They were just getting going. They played the local fair.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know them until they hit the radio. You know, but yeah, that's what I'll be doing. Being in my PJs at home where it's safe.
Yeah, I'll probably be I'll start playing a video game around 11
Uh-huh.
and stop it at around 1, 12:30, 1 o'clock ish. And then I'll probably walk up to the local Stewart's, which is like a mobile, but it's in New York. It's called Stewart's Shop. Buy a sub and maybe some monsters. I gotta have my monsters.
Uh,
And that's pretty much gonna be my New Year's right there.
Well, I'm glad I've got to talk with you. I don't know why I'm not getting notifications when you go live.
You
Like,
know,
I don't know you went live until like 3 hours later. It's like, what? Brad was live?
you know what you might have to do? You might have to unsubscribe and then resubscribe.
Yeah, I could try that.
Because when I start not getting notifications, that's what I do, and then they start popping back up again.
Oh, okay, cool. I'll try that. But
Yeah.
I think. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's a hack that to get around the YouTube wanting to not tell people about stuff.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. But I think I'm gonna end the live. We've been on here 8 minutes shy of 3 hours.
Yeah, I about to say we've been on here forever, Kim.
Good Lord. It's a live like what happened when you came on my lives.
I know, right? Well, we had some good conversation this time, and really happy about that. And yeah, it ended up to be 3 hours.
I'm glad I was able to make this live. I didn't get a notification. I was just scrolling through YouTube and was like, wait, she's live. Click.
Yeah, it's real good seeing you, Brad. And
It's always good to see you. Sorry about my hair being so messy. It hasn't wanted to act right in 3 days.
no. Well, Tara, thank you for being up on panel with me for a good while and spending the time with me. You know,
You're
I
welcome, my
appreciate that.
love.
I really do.
I had a blast.
And
I
I
had a
pray
very
for
good time.
I pray for both of you to have a better year, because I don't think too many people would say 23 was a great year. So,
Well, you know, my new baby will be here July 14th, I think is when she's due. Or he. We don't know yet. We'll find out on the 11th with the boy or girl. But yeah, it's second week in July the baby's due. So
Well, tell her to put it, if it's the 14th, tell her to put it off for 3 days and have the kid on the 17th. It's my birthday.
okay. See, it's
but
possible. My first grandchild, his birthday is 14 days after my birthday, and I always tell my daughter, "You did that on purpose." But
oh
yeah.
Lord. But yeah, thank you guys for coming up. I'm gonna close it out, and I gotta get ready here soon and go get my daughter from work, and then we're gonna bring the New Year's in together.
Well,
So,
you know, I might make a cake, Kim.
No
oh,
problem.
great.
It
Yeah, I
was
might make
nice
a
to
little
meet
butt
you,
cake.
Tara.
Make me some tiramisu and send it to me.
I can do it.
I love
Nice.
tiramisu. I love it. I love it. Just as
Really?
much as baklava. Those are my two favorite desserts.
Oh, you love baklava.
I love
Yes,
baklava.
yes.
Have you ever had
Kim,
homemade baklava?
I have.
That's good, right?
Oh
Oh
my God,
yeah.
I'm telling you what, when it's fresh, holy cow. That's better than any sex you could have. I
Well,
don't
I
care.
don't know about that,
It,
but it's
it
close.
is the orgasm in your mouth. It is fabulous.
Yep.
So
But
I think I'm gonna make a lemon bundt cake right now. Zeke said,
Hmm.
"Yeah, I
okay.
want you to make me a cake, mommy." You hear him?
Oh,
Yeah.
He
I
said,
might
"Cake."
have to. I might have to make you some baklava and send it, Kim.
oh, that would be amazing. That's like better than any store bought gift.
Well, I don't really have the money to be buying a store bought gift, but
Oh, I'm saying it's better than a store bought gift.
well, I've been wanting to do to. I've been kind of craving baklava for a little bit, and I know how to make it.
Oh, okay, awesome.
So if I can't send you any, I'll at least take a picture of it for you
Oh, there you go.
because I might eat it all myself.
Don't blame you. Don't blame you. Well, you guys
Well,
have a good night.
you too,
You
I'm
too,
gonna
Kim.
get
Kim. If
off.
you're up later, honey, I'll see you. I'll be back around.
All right, sweetheart. Love you
All right.
guys.
And
Bye,
I'm
guys.
always on.
Happy New Year's.
Happy New
Happy
Year's.
Year's. All right, guys. Wow. That was a great live. I'm so happy, and I love having conversations with everybody. It is just, I love it, and I appreciate you guys spending the time with me on the last day of the year. Um, but I just want to say I love you guys. I appreciate you being subscribed to me. And I just appreciate you guys for being nice. I love you, and I hope you have a safe holiday. And um, if you're with your family or with your kids, you know, give them an extra squeeze and be grateful you have them. Um, but I will see you around, and hopefully we'll be live next week. Love you guys. I'm going to send you out with a video. And just remember to be kind.